Hey guys, welcome back. Fantasy Endgame here on a Tuesday. Try to help you set your lineups for the next week because we are finally getting to the point where it's almost halfway through the season. Can't say halfway because for fantasy football depends on when you play and when your playoffs are, but we're getting there. The season's a week longer than it used to be, and so we're still kind of wrap our heads around that. It's going to be a busy week because there are absolutely no teams on bye and no international games either. Just a regular old Sunday chock full of NFL fun. That's a good thing. I'm kind of looking forward to that, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to no double Monday night games, especially after last night's nightmare. Not looking forward to any London games. Let's just get back to normal football here. We need some normalcy after week 7. We need some normalcy.
Yeah, it was I don't know. I think it's probably top contender here for least fun week for fantasy football. Because first of all, we thought it was just going to be a bunch of busts. I mean, they were everywhere, just a ton of busts here, there, everywhere. And nope, Monday night proved that wasn't the low point. So you probably heard, but one of the best players in all of the game, especially for fantasy, is done for the season, and his teammate is going to be out till I believe week 11. So if you didn't catch it, Tampa Bay Bucks wide receivers, both of their starting wide receivers, both guys who are must starts pretty much all year, both out in the same game. Mike Evans was first. He did catch a touchdown, at least, for what it's worth. It was actually about to catch another one and would have actually had that touchdown had he not injured that hamstring that made him questionable in the first place. Let's start with that before we get to the real devastating news, the gut punch. Let's start with Evans. I think I saw week 11, right? Because they had their bye, and they're saying maybe after that. So you're going to be without him a couple of weeks. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's going to be long enough for it to warrant an IR stint, at least not that I've heard.
Right, that's the hope. I think they have the week 11 bye, so I think the hope is week 12. So he would miss week 8, week 9, week 10. Week 11 is the bye. So it's basically like an IR stint, right? Because with IR, it's not 4 weeks. A lot of people think, 4 weeks. No, it's 4 games. So by not putting them on IR, it could be 4 weeks, only 3 games. So that's the good news here. And we've seen guys, we saw like AJ Brown came back from his hamstring injury, and he's been great. We'll see when Nico comes back. I expect him to be great. The good news is here for Mike Evans, at least he's still going to play this year.
True. It's not a season ender. And I guess if this was going to happen, best to happen in the middle of the year, not the end of the year. So, I feel like we're trying to sugarcoat this a little bit. But look, it could have been worse. It could have been like Chris Godwin's. Yeah, and I even said we weren't watching. We were busy streaming. We're on here. And by the way, also, if you did watch, we had a special guest on. It was Keith, the Weather Beast himself, one of our OGs, and did a great job. Look for Keith to return probably next week. So we were treated to that. If you didn't catch the Monday stream, and I get it, football's on, and Monday night sometimes gets hectic, but we still stream on Monday to kind of break down what happened on Sundays and look forward to the Monday matchups and all that. But we had some good discussion there with Keith. But then, that game. So we weren't watching it live. Well, Chris, you're always keeping tabs on things and trying to keep up with what's going on. And so he said, "Oh, Godwin's hurt." It's like, oh, it figures, right? After Evans gets hurt, it figures Godwin gets hurt. And then I saw the replay, and I was like, oh, I don't think his foot is supposed to go in that direction because he was face down, but the other foot was like this.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the air cast came out. We just knew.
Yep, we just knew, unfortunately, and that's it. The guy, I know, cry me a river. Everybody's got their injury. Everybody's been hit by the injury bug this year. But I was thinking about it. I was like, 3 players I talked about more than any other players this offseason. Isaiah Pacheco, phenomenal, got hurt. Chris Godwin, going to be a league winner. No doubt. Like, nobody can even dispute that. Chris Godwin was going to win your fantasy league, out for the season. Rashid Shaheed, one of the best late round picks in all of fantasy, out for the season. Like I was just you can do all this preparation, you can do all this studying, all this research, you can crush your draft, you can just knock it out of the park, and then fantasy football and injuries just come in and just laugh in your face and say, "Ha, nothing you can do." Part of the game, unfortunately.
Yeah, and we say this all the time. Anyways, it's not about who drafts the best because draft is only half of the battle. You have to be active. You have to make smart trades, waiver wire pickups, start sit moves, whatever, and you have to have some luck on your side. This year, it literally almost just doesn't matter how you drafted. It doesn't matter. Like whatever you drafted, great. I'll take half of that away because of injuries, and then the busts that always happen and whatever. Like it almost doesn't matter. You have to have made good waiver wire moves. But what's weird is that unlike last year where you had a couple of guys that if you got them off waivers early, they were league winners, like Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, etc. Like there is no guy so far this year, at least, that has been doing that. There's a couple of good pickups, but there's one guy you can point to say, hey, you got him, that's good enough. So it's just been super frustrating, and I'm really hoping that comes to an end soon. But this is why you have to be proactive. Again, not just reactive, proactive. You have to try to stash players ahead of time. You have to make those moves before you need to. So that's why we're here. And we'll also help you commiserate. I mean, look, Godwin on a few teams. I know you did too. Evans should have been a stud, all season long. And now we're going to miss him for a chunk. Let's get to the reaction, though, here. Is it going too far to say that Jalen McMillan is a must-add?
No, I think I think a must-add is too far. I certainly think he's worth an add, but I don't know about must-add. Like I would still prioritize Juwan Jennings over Jalen McMillan because we know at a minimum, like Brandon Ayuk is not coming back. So right. Juwan Jennings is basically going to be the wide receiver too whenever he gets back healthy. I know we want Ricky Pearsall to be a thing. I know we want, Jake Cowan to be a thing, but like remember, these aren't like, no doubt rookie prospects here. Like, I mean, even look at Marvin Harrison struggling. Look at Malik Neighbors. But he's had some nice games for sure, but he's also had some duds. Like Brian Thomas Jr., same thing. Like it's gonna be that way, right? So you got to think this is gonna be Debo and Juwan Jennings. Obviously, Debo gets a big bump, but Juwan Jennings also gets a nice bump. So, like, Jennings is the one that I really, really want to go after here.
Yes. Yeah, it's funny with all the injuries from last night with the Bucks. Almost forgot. Yeah, Brandon Ayuk, he's gone too for the season. I agree with that. Jennings is the guy you want. Good news, at least, if there's good news that we have gotten today, is Debo is out of the hospital. So at least that's nothing too serious, it would seem. Not anymore, at least. Man, yeah, fun times these are. We are here, and I know a lot of people, just real quick, not necessarily the fantasy angle here, Rise. And again, this is great timing here. Rise above anything. We can get over this. It's not even us. Like, we can't feel sorry for ourselves. These are our fantasy teams. Right. It was very sad to see Chris Godwin go down. What do you make of the argument that he shouldn't have been in there because they were losing? It was the end of the game, blah, blah, blah. Mike Evans maybe shouldn't have even played because of the hamstring.
Well, my argument against this always is, in Rise, I obviously don't know your background. But if you played competitive sports, I'm not just talking like little league, like real competitive sports, like at a high level. Like they were down 10. If like competitive athletes don't feel like they have lost that game, because you never know. The next play could be a touchdown, and now there's 30 seconds to go, and you're only down 3, and you get the onside. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna play to win. If they were down like 30 or 20, where it's like impossible, then I'd be like, yeah, that was ridiculous. But they, the Ravens laid down in the fourth quarter and kind of let the Bucks semi back in that game. So I get the Godwin one. I understand, like, it's like, hey, we're down 10. We got the ball. if we can score here, or even if we can get into field goal range real quick and kick a field goal and then get the onside kick, maybe we could throw a Hail Mary. Like this is how competitive athletes are going to think. They're not going to think, well, there's 40 seconds to go. What happens if I get hurt in this meaningless, moment? And it's the same thing for Evans. Like, there's a reason these guys are the best in the world, and it's not just because they were born with incredible gifts and they work so hard. It's because they have this mindset of like that most of us don't have, in the sense that like, I'm fine, my hamstring is fine, I can walk, I can move, put me out there, right? Like who was it? Jack Tatum, like playing the Super Bowl on a broken leg or whatever it was. You know what I mean? Like, that's why these guys are out there and we're here chatting about it. Among other things, I'm also not 6'5", 300 pounds that can run a 4.40, but you know what I'm saying? Like, so I get being frustrated for sure. Like 40 seconds ago, they're, but I mean, it could have happened. It could have happened on the first play of the game just as easily as it could have happened with 40 seconds to go. So
that's the thing. People get outraged. Oh, you shouldn't have been playing. If this exact same thing happened and it was the end of the third quarter, nobody says anything. Like, oh, this is just part of the game. It's part of the game.
Yep.
If the score was a 3-point differential instead of a 10-point or whatever it is, people nobody would say anything.
Right. Just
because it happened to be, that they probably weren't going to win, what they're supposed to just pull their starters and just give up. Come on, yeah. That's not how pro sports works. And also, I'll just say this: it also really, I guess it doesn't irritate me anymore because I've learned to just not care as much what people think. But when people who was it? There was somebody, a journalist or something who's like a Cowboys fan, was saying something about Dan Campbell as a bad sport because they were like running up the score against the Cowboys when they embarrassed them 2 weeks ago. And Dan Campbell's like, whatever. Like, seriously, we have a mercy rule now. These are professional athletes and we're supposed to spare their feelings because they're losing. Try harder. Or that's part of the game. I hate when people, running up the score.
Yeah.
It's a competition. It's not let's wait until we're barely ahead and then see if you can catch up. That's not how it goes. So, I mean, look, it happened. It's unfortunate that it happened, but this is definitely not the coach. Anyways, enough of that. Let's get to your questions and your fantasy start, sit, waiver wire trade, anything type of questions. There is also some buzz. I don't know how deep we want to go into this. It's I can't call it news because right now it's still just a little bit of speculation. Cooper Kupp. Could you see him in a new uniform? There's a lot of smoke here. People saying that not only that he could get traded, but that the Rams are shopping him. It's not like teams are inquiring. No, this is sounding like it's the other way around, that the Rams are saying, hey, he's available, and that they're actually trying to get rid of Matt Stafford as well, and that the Vikings are interested in Matt Stafford, which to me is kind of curious, given how Sam Darnold has started. But what you think this is are there any legs to this?
I mean, yeah, I'm sure it makes sense for the Rams because you're not winning this year. And, what are you going to do with Kupp and Stafford? But Stafford to the Vikings makes no sense. Like, Sam Darnold hasn't been bad at all. Like, hasn't been bad at all. What, they really think Stafford is an upgrade over Sam Darnold? I mean, maybe he is an upgrade over Sam Darnold. He could be an upgrade over Sam Darnold, but I don't feel like quarterback is their need. And also, I was hearing the rumor like Cooper Kupp to the Vikings. Like, the Vikings are looking around saying we need wide receiver help. Like, really? That's what they're saying? Like, really?
Yeah, that's the missing part.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. But like, somebody was like, hey, conspiracy theory, they're waiting till after they play each other on Thursday night, and then Cooper Kupp is going to get traded to the Vikings. And I'm like, why would the Vikings trade for Cooper Kupp? They have the best wide receiver in football. They have Jordan Addison. Jalen Naylor looks good enough. They got TJ Hawkinson coming back. Like, I don't think they're trading for Cooper Kupp, but I could be wrong.
Neither of those make sense. The Chiefs, that makes sense.
Well, that makes sense.
Kupp going to the Chiefs makes sense. The Steelers, it doesn't make that much sense, but at least it's viable because, okay, they don't have a number 2 receiver, but not the Vikings. Anyways, that will be something interesting to keep an eye on, just to see, just in case. But, the Rams do play Thursday, so I don't know. I have a feeling a deal doesn't get done in the next 24 hours, 48 hours before the game kicks off. But One thing I do know before Thursday night kicks off, whether he is in Minnesota or LA, presumably LA, Matt Stafford is going to get a yard this week. I feel like it's going to be as a Ram. This is important because if you're an underdog and you sign up as a new customer, you get this freebie. It's Matt Stafford going higher than 0.5 total yards. That's right. Underdog is the place to go for your NFL pick'ems. And you can start off with a free pick. That one I just mentioned is Stafford on Thursday night. And you also get up to $1,000 of bonus cash in your account just for signing up as soon as you use code NGAME for the very first time there. That's right. 50% deposit match all the way up to $1,000 in your account, plus the free pick, plus boost over means profit boost tokens every single day. You can go out and start making your first NFL picks right now and get those boosts. And I do believe that NBA season is officially here. So with NBA season here, you can get those NBA picks as well, whatever you prefer. But you have to use code NGAME when you first become an underdog customer to get all of that. So check it out if you haven't already. Before we get to your questions, I also need to remind you, we have an app. It's called Draft Lane. You can do the exact same thing that you're seeing us do here, answer questions, starts at waiver wire trade, whatever. And you can download that for free on the App Store or the Play Store. So check it out right now. The app is called Draft Lane. It's a way for you to get in contact with us. Let's get to your questions, though. Let's start with Brian Ferman. We've been here nice and early. Speaking of those Steelers, looking to sell high on Pickens. Interesting. Do you think that this is time to sell high after a big game, or you're holding on to Pickens?
It's always a good time to sell high if you're really selling high, of course. I would not trade Pickens for a quarterback. Like there is no quarterback I would trade Pickens for unless you're starting, unless you're like if you're in like a 16-team league where everybody hoards quarterbacks and maybe you had, I don't even know, we haven't even really had any big quarterback injuries this year like we've had in the years past. But maybe for some reason you're having to start Gardner Minshew. Okay, then I would trade for a quarterback. Or like you're having to start Daniel Jones. Okay, I'll trade for a quarterback, but I'll just stream QB. As far as running back goes, it's not like George Pickens is going to get you a beast. He had one nice game, but I don't think people are like fully bought in that George Pickens has, that this is it. Like Russell Wilson has completely unlocked George Pickens. I kind of say the same names I say a lot of times around here, like maybe a Ramondre Stevenson if you want, a Brian Robinson, a Tony Pollard, maybe a DeAndre Swift coming out of the bye, guys like that, maybe a Chuba Hubbard. Like, I don't think he's like, you're not going to get, like, I don't think you're going to get James Conner. I don't think you're going to get Aaron Jones, Devon Achane. Unless somebody is still worried about Achane, even though Tua's coming back, I don't think you're getting like a James Cook, Josh Jacobs. You could try, but I don't think so.
Yeah, and it's funny, the looking at his roster, the names you mentioned, he's got Chuba, Ramondre, and Achane. You're not bad off at running back, and it's funny because the quarterbacks you got Stroud and Caleb Williams. I get Stroud has been underwhelming, but I think he'll be good this week.
Yep.
I think
he should be great this week.
This squad, I'm saying I just hold Pickens. All right, Jay, re-up the membership. Thank you, Jay. In non-PPR, have Mahomes and Flacco. I love that you're still holding them. On waivers is Tua, May, and Wilson. If I can't get Tua, okay, glad you said that. What's the best option? Just keep Flacco.
Yeah, I wish it was Flacco, but it's not. I'd probably go Russ again at home against the Giants. I know Drake May, but man, he's going against the Jets this week. I think I go Russ over Drake May. You can drop Flacco.
Yes, unfortunately. You didn't list them. I don't know who else might be on waivers. You know who I actually recommended for, I'm pretty sure the first time as a streamer on Draft Lane, and somebody asked a question, Bo Nix. Bo Nix in a smash spot. That offense is at least somewhat better. I don't know. I mean, I like May overall. I do not like his matchup this week.
Right.
Wilson is, I mean, look, can't take anything away from Russ. He cooked last week. Sure. It's not a bad spot for Russ. So Russ is probably your safe pick, but I think Nix is interesting too. But go for Tua first, of course. Sir Boomer. Oh, come on. We lose one game and it's a 5-alarm garbage fire. Come on. JD Love, HN, Monty, Bucky, Wright, Pacheco, Chase, Amari, Deontay, Ladd, Downs, Nico, Ingram, Goddard. You're fine. Flexing Bucky, all right, that doesn't feel great. What do you do, though?
I mean, you kind of need JD, and you kind of need 2 QBs this week because JD probably won't play. But Achane should get better. Monty's been mostly good. Bucky is fine. You got Chase. Amari's gonna get better. Don't like Deontay this week. I think Ladd will be okay this week, or you can flex Bucky. So, hey, you're 5-2. Like what?
You're okay. You're okay, especially if HN gets back to RB1 status. Yeah. Ladd was not a boom. Clearly, nothing whatsoever in that game was booming, except for Will Dissly, apparently. But Ladd, I think, will be fine. I think he'll still come on a little bit. So you're okay. You're okay. Juice. Look, maybe he didn't go off, but apparently it was just enough. By playing McConkey, won by 22 hundredths of a point.
Yeah, he didn't go off, but we had a lot of questions between Ladd and Marvin Harrison, and somehow Ladd outscored Marvin Harrison. So at least there was that. But yeah, man.
Yeah, that says more about Marvin Harrison. I don't even know. Does it say about Harrison or does it say about Kyler Murray that he can't get the ball to Marvin Harrison?
Well, actually, I saw a stat. It was like, what was it? It was in the Discord. Something like the fastest time for wide receivers to get like 15 yards down the field, and like Alec Pierce is number 1 because they basically just tell Alec Pierce sprint. Like, right, that's his route tree is like, when we snap it, just sprint. Just snap it and sprint, and when you get like 30 yards, turn your head in case he throws it to you, right? That's like Alec Pierce's route tree. That's it. But Marvin Harrison is like number 5. Like, they're just asking him to run like vertical. They're that's it. Just run vertical. No easy throws, none of those easy, like, in-breaking routes, quick hitters. It's just all like run vertical. And those plays take time to develop. And if they have 2 high safeties, a safety over the top, it's going to be tough. So I don't know why they're not deploying him differently.
And that's what's really frustrating. It's like, it's not necessarily him either, but it's not going to change. So I don't think they're getting a new OC mid-year. Even maybe they should. All right, well, glad you won. Glad you pulled that out.
Yeah. A win is a win.
Yeah, that was a sweat. Gabriel, also 5-2. All right. 6-1 passing TD. It feels wrong dropping Mahomes, as it should. Free agents, Tua, Gino, Nix, Russell, Steele, Wilson. Okay. Similar to the last question, QBs in a 6-point passing touchdown league, is Tua the top choice for you?
I think so. I think he's got to be the top choice here. And you can drop Mahomes. I mean, what? Unless we wake up tomorrow morning and it's like Cooper Kupp's a Chief, then maybe you're going to regret dropping Patrick Mahomes. But outside of that, I don't think you're going to regret dropping Mahomes.
All right. Nothing. And Juju, for what it's worth, not that this should really make as big a difference. Juju's not even going to play this week. That's already confirmed, right? He's ruled out for week 8.
I mean, I don't know. Probably.
I think. Well, maybe that's not official, but I saw.
It wouldn't surprise me if he was already ruled out. This is just the microcosm of Juju's entire career, right? He had that one insane year in Pittsburgh, and then just that was it. And then he's just one of these guys. He has like every now and then he has that big game, and everybody's like, "This is it. go get Juju, and then he just disappears. Whether it's disappears for production, disappears for injury, he just says, "Hey, all right, peace out." Peace out.
It's like he used it all up in that one game. It's like he has like the health bar. It's like it was all used. He just went all in. Can't give you any more the rest of the season. Tua first choice. I would say Russ maybe the second choice, and then Nick Sergino. All right, Vinny. Everybody's 5-2. 16
Nice.
teamer. Murray, Wilson, Shakir, Mondre, Keenan, Ingram, and Mason at the flex. Benching Rico Suave, Quentin, and Whittingham.
Yeah, Whittington's droppable now, man. I really had high hopes for him last week with Kupp out, and he got the big fat goose egg. So you can just drop Whittington for anybody, literally anybody. Yeah, not starting any of those guys, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, whether they get traded or not, this just confirms to me again. I'm gonna have no stake in the Rams passing offense unless it happens to be Cooper Kupp playing and coming back. But forget all those other guys.
They're opening up his 21-day window. We could see him back pretty soon too.
Well, yeah. I mean, if Puka comes back, obviously Puka, but none of those other guys. So Tyler Johnson, DeMarcus Robinson, Jordan. No, forget it. I don't care. Tutu Atwell, no. Just no. No changes here. No changes here. Brian, what's up, Brian? Any of the Bucks guys or Pierce all worth the number 2?
I mean, Jalen McMillan probably worth the number 2.
I think so.
Yeah, worth the number 2. I don't know about, again, Pearsall. Remember, this is his first game of the year. We're already halfway through the fantasy season. Yeah, I think you can wait on Pearsall. Probably McMillan worth the number 2.
Yeah, I think McMillan's the one that you should be interested in here. Yeah, Pearsall, I'm really not even adding this week. By sheer coincidence, I guess. Well, not coincidence. It's because he finally started practicing and actually was activated last week. But I happen to say Ricky Pearsall on the Beat the Breakout was a stash. I still consider him a stash, but now everyone's going to run out and pick him up. So it's really
right.
It's changed, but I still don't feel he's going to be close to contributing in a meaningful way for at least 2 to 3 weeks, if even. So I'm not rushing out to add Pearsall now. If you did stash him last week, great. If not, don't worry about it. It's McMillan for me. Jordan Olson, rate the lineup in a 14-teamer. Hurts, Gibbs, and Monty. Amon Ra. Oh, that's right. This is the all-lion team. DK, Ferg, Chris Powell.
Is that a kicker?
Boswell. Chris Boswell is the kicker. Maybe it's Chris Boswell.
Maybe Chris Boswell. Whatever. Although he makes a lot of field goals, doesn't he? Although he might get less with Russ if they're going to cook.
And he's flexing Rashad White.
That was good last night if you flexed them. Jeez.
Yeah, no kidding. 14-teamer.
It's a very good team. I mean, Amon-Ra, DK, Gibbs, and Monty, Hurts at quarterback, Ferguson at tight end. This has got to be like a 9. I know it's risky having Gibbs, Monty, and Amon-Ra because if the Lions have a game where they just absolutely do nothing on offense, you're going to lose. But that's an offense to have a lot of pieces in if you want it. So I think I got to give this a 9.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want DK to play this week, but generally speaking, for starting lineup in that kind of format, you're good across the board. I think 9 is fair. Dale, would you trade JJ for Mixon and Deontay?
Nah. I think I'm still. I think I still want JJ here. It's full PPR. I will say Mixon is actually getting closer. Keeps having these monster games, but JJ keeps having monster games too.
I feel like it's not unfair. I feel like it might be
not unfair
enough Yeah, it's just so hard to give up a stud like Jefferson without
Yeah,
feeling like you're getting an overwhelming offer. This is not overwhelming. It's solid. It's
it
solid.
is.
But like Pollard is a solid RB2. Gibbs is RB1. I don't think you need to do this. Um, you got Terry, Amari, Olave. I mean, you're deep enough at receiver. I don't think so. I think I would rather just keep Jefferson. All right, we could do one more. We got our members lined up here. We'll do the super chats next, but short season is here. St. Brown, Reed, Debo Moore, Garrett Wilson, and Waddle pick 3 to start this week.
Got to start St. Brown. I think you got to start Debo if he plays. Got to start Debo if he plays. Man, I want to start Waddle. I know Reed has been so frustrating, but it's the Jaguars.
Yeah, I think you have to.
I think I'm going St. Brown, Reed, and Debo. If Debo doesn't play, I'll go Waddle.
Yeah, Debo should be the guy who gets the biggest bump with Ayuk out. St. Brown, no doubt. Just go with the first 3. Country Connected. All right, the first super chat here. Guess what? 5 and 2. Declined Devontae for Achan. I got Love, Monty, B-Rob, Naji, Wilson, Olave, Jamar, Devontae, Tank. All right, traded Naji for Achan. That's a win.
That should be a win. I mean, look, if Naji keeps running like this, maybe it won't be, but it should be a win. Should be a win.
Yeah, I like that deal. Upgrades anywhere else? I don't see how.
Yeah.
Nah, you're good. You got a really good team. Yeah, you arguably should be even better than 5 and 2. No, you're good. Good deal. Alexander's channel. Defense, Baltimore, Chargers, or Broncos. Was not prepared for a defense start state question this early in the week.
Well, I know Chargers get whatever QB is starting for the Browns, so I like that a lot.
Broncos get Panthers, don't they?
I like that. I definitely like that a lot.
Andy Dalton, which, by the way, it's minor news. Andy Dalton, I guess, was in a car accident, but nothing major. He wasn't taken to the ER or anything. I mean, I don't think it affects anything, but
yeah, Ravens this week.
Ravens get the Browns.
Oh, that's right. Ravens get the Browns.
Yeah, Ravens get the Browns. The Chargers are gonna get the Saints.
I know they have a good matchup this week.
Oh man, Spencer Rattler.
It's got to be the Chargers. It's got to be the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you picked these 3 for a reason, Alexander. These are probably the 3 best streaming defenses possible. Actually, I don't even know most of these defenses are rostered already. Yeah, I'm gonna go Chargers. Broncos would be second choice, but Chargers. Yeah. Maggie, welcome, Maggie. Full PPR start 2. In other words, we have to sit one of these.
I know it's going to be hard to sit Brian Thomas right now, and I get it if you want to start him over Jaden Reed. I totally get it, but Jair Alexander is back. Look what the Packers just did to CJ Stroud, Stephon Diggs, and Tank Dell. Pretty much limited them to nothing. I mean, those guys combined for 5 catches for 23 yards, and it was all Stephon Diggs. Like, yeah, I know Brian Thomas has been great, but Jaden Reed gets the Jaguars. I know Jaden Reed hasn't been great, so I know it's like, how can I put Jaden Reed in? He's been terrible. And Brian Thomas, I get all that. If you want to roll with Brian Thomas, I'm okay with it. But if it's me, I'm going St. Brown and Reed.
Yeah, exactly. I got to put Reed in there against the Jaguars. Got to have it. Again, don't look at last week. Look at this coming week. Reed in a great spot. St. Brown and Reed. It is. And then she has a second question. Full PPR flexing Chase Brown, Tank Bigsby, Jalen Tolbert, or Marvin Harrison, who you're right, rightfully belongs down in this tier now. I mean, I don't think I would put Jalen Tolbert over him, but I don't know that he's my favorite. This is full PPR. I might even just say Tank Bigsby.
Yeah, I'm going to say Tank Bigsby. I mean, you just can't feel good about Marvin Harrison right now.
Nope.
I do worry a little bit for Bigsby this week. in that same matchup against the Packers, where if the Packers are up 3 scores, does he get game scripted out? But if that doesn't happen, if they can keep it close, Bigsby could have a big game this week again. So I think I'm going to go Bigsby. Man, what? Marvin Harrison has to be one of the worst, like one of the biggest non-injury busts so far.
Yeah, I was just thinking, everyone was all thrilled with their, mainly in best ball I'm talking, but like, earlier in the offseason when you could draft and get him in like the 3rd round or like 4th round, and then you saw him creep up to 1st round territory. You're like, I remember I got Marvin Harrison. Yeah, you're not so thrilled anymore, but
no,
it's still not even halfway through the season. He's got time. We were talking about this already. True. Harrison, it's too early to give up on him. But I would go tank. All right, Anthony, aka the not so silent majority, is here to say what's up and thank you. No, we should be thanking you for always being here. And
definitely
awesome. It's a very important week in the big money league. All right. Well, I mean, I will say this. Yeah, the season's not half over yet, but this is the turning point for some teams. You, especially with all these injuries, if you lost Godwin and you were rolling, if you're 5-2, for example, and then all of a sudden you lose your best receiver's gone for the season. Yeah, you're gonna have to figure out what to do here. So what you do definitely could make or break it. But glad that George Pickens came through for you. And always good advice here. By the way, guys, if we've helped you at all at any point this season, or if you just like watching, hit the like button, subscribe, notifications, and you get that little membership, that cool little icon thingy that Anthony's got next to him. I think it's worth it just for that. All right, Cody is here. Cody Greenwood. Yeah. It's kind of, I guess, the salt in the wound here was Chris Godwin also not doing a lot. Actually did come through with some numbers. He didn't kill you. I mean, he got you double-digit points.
Yeah.
But apparently he's 2-5 on a 5-game losing streak. Thinking about picking up Nakua, like he's just out there. No one's stashing him.
I mean, yeah, you should definitely pick up Nakua if you can. Definitely.
Interesting. So you have IR spots, but whoever had Nakua just decided to drop him. That's what I'm getting out of this. All right. Yeah, I'd pick him up. All right, Anthony G's got a good question. What about Cade Auton? Could be the big beneficiary. He definitely was last night.
Yep.
But are you selling high on Cade Auton to get a running back like Ramondre?
Yeah, I probably would. Why not? Why not? You just picked Cade Auton up off a waiver wire to stream him, and now you're going to get Ramondre? Yeah, just give me Ramondre here.
There's no doubt Cade Auton is a huge winner, if there is such a thing here, fantasy-wise. But, I mean, are you sold that he's like top 10 tight end for sure rest of the season?
No, definitely not. I mean, look, Mike Evans is almost certainly coming back. They'll get some of these other wide receivers going. No, definitely. I'll just gamble on Ramondre here. Look, maybe Ramondre is bad rest of the year, but I'll take my chances on Ramondre.
Agree. I think the running back is definitely going to be more valuable than the tight end. Steven in Superflex got Lamar. Nice. That's a good question. All right. You don't have to start Mahomes in a 1 QB league. You don't have to start him in a Superflex league. But now with Evans and Godwin out, are you willing to put Mahomes over Baker?
I'll still go Baker. I mean, they'll figure it out. Will he be as good as he's been? Probably not, but they'll figure it out. They'll still throw the ball. They're not going to suddenly become a run-heavy team because they can't really run the ball. Like we saw last night, he'll check it down to White. He'll check it down to Bucky. He'll find guys. He'll find Auton. I'm still playing Baker. It's not like Mahomes' situation has gotten any better. Like what? Like I'll still take my chances with Baker here.
His situation technically got worse too by losing Juju, which doesn't sound like a big loss, except that was his number 1 receiver. So I agree. I would stick with Baker. Tolu O got Juju, unfortunately. Would you pick up Tillman, Jennings, or McMillan? Well, all good, but still going Jennings first here.
Yeah, I think Jennings has to be number one. I mean, we saw earlier in the year when, well, who was out? Debo, right? Debo was out. Yeah, when Debo was out, we saw what Jennings could do. We know Ayuk's out for the season. Like, that's not even a question. So I think Jennings has to be number one. I'd probably still go McMillan number two. I talked up Cedric Tillman a little bit in the offseason. He was one of my favorite, like, late round best ball picks.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still Cedric Tillman here.
Yeah. Not exactly the next Amari Cooper. Who knows? Maybe in time, but come on. Jennings 1, McMillan 2, Tillman 3. And I'd say I could pick up any of those guys over Juju. So definitely go for it. Josh Rust. Actually, you know what? Let me let's throw this one. It's right below it. It's a good question here. Corral. How much fab do you put down on Jennings?
I mean, we're looking at potentially the number 2 wide receiver in San Francisco for the rest of the season. That's a lot of value. I think I would be willing to go as. I mean, this always depends on how aggressive your league is, how badly you need Jennings. But I'd probably be willing to go 50% or more if I had to.
I love it when we think alike. That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm not going to go over 50%, but if I need to, I could go up to 50%. It's going to be valuable. I don't think you have to, drop everything for him. I think you can go up to 50, but the easy thing to say, the hard thing to do, is try to estimate how much you think the guy who needs Jennings the most in your league, or wants him, or just whoever tends to be the most aggressive in general on waiver wire, how much you think they're going to spend, and just try to go a little bit higher. And if you're really bad off at receiver, maybe you just lost Godwin, maybe you just lost Ayuk, etc., you spend up a little bit more. So this also really depends.
And actually, that's a good point. It's a good kind of strategy thing here. You should know we've been through 6 weeks of waiver wire runs now, and we've had some big waiver wire weeks. This hasn't been one of those years where it's like, the waivers, no, we've had a lot of weeks where it's like, big waiver wire weeks. You should know now, kind of how aggressive the league is. Do they drop a lot of fab? Do they drop a little bit of fab? And you should know who the aggressive ones are by now. Who are the ones that are actually, and if you haven't been paying attention, you can always go back and look and see how much fab people have dropped. And then you can even look at your league. If you go into your league standings and you go to details, it will tell you how much fab everybody else has. So if there's let's say if there's 3 or 4 people in your league who just never make waiver ads, they just don't do any, right? They just set their lineup and move on. That's all they do. But let's say there's 4 or 5 guys or girls who are really ultra aggressive. But let's say because they're aggressive, the top one only has out of those 4 or 5, the person with the most fab only has, say, 40 fab left. You can just drop 41, and you're going to outbid all those aggressive people, and just gamble that the people who aren't aggressive don't even bid. So that's a little strategy you can use there. But it's why it's really important to pay attention and understand how your league is bidding. And I have a league like that historically has been very, I've gotten guys for $0 that shouldn't be going for $0. And then this year they've gotten super aggressive. So I've had to totally adjust I missed out on a bunch of people because I'm I don't have to bid that much. These guys they've been totally aggressive this year. So you got to pay attention.
Yeah, exactly. Might have to spend more for him this time than the last time after his big game. Josh Russ now, what's up? Needs 2 receivers in half. Debo, DJ Moore, and Amari.
Well, again, I feel like Debo, if he plays, is almost a must start. I mean, have to start him. Amari and DJ Moore, it's going to be close for me.
Bears, it's not a great spot, I don't think. It's the Commanders, which was a great matchup, not as much anymore. I mean, he's still definitely startable. The Bills get the Seahawks.
Yeah, which is also not phenomenal, but I think the difference for me is that Amari Cooper has Josh Allen and DJ Moore has Caleb Williams. And that is the thing. We talk about this briefly, I think, on the wide receiver video that comes out tomorrow morning when we talk about the Bears wide receivers, because I say something to the effect of like, this isn't the smash matchup people think it is anymore. And you brought up the stat. Over the last 4 weeks, they've given up the second fewest fantasy points to wide receivers. Dan Quinn, who, by the way, I wonder why Dallas's defense isn't as good this year. Dan Quinn is working his miracles with this Commanders defense. They are playing a lot better. I think I'm just going to go Amari Cooper here. Debo and Cooper.
Yeah, and this happens every year. People just forget or really underestimate the impact that coaches have, coordinators specifically. Head coaches, we know, right, very clearly when a head coach changes, but sometimes we forget offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, they go to get a head coaching job because they were really good at their job. Dan Quinn obviously was really good as defensive coordinator for Dallas, previously experienced as a head coach, and before that as a DC. He was a big reason why that Cowboys defense was dominant. And now he's finally whipping the Washington defense into shape. So this might not be a pushover the rest of the season. So all that to say, DJ Moore is still very startable, but it's not an obvious smash spot for him. I would go Amari Cooper based on and Debo. Amari Cooper and Debo based on this week's matchups. Eddie J. Drop Watson. I guess Christian Watson for Coleman, Tillman, or the teammate Wicks.
I mean, I'm pretty close to dropping Christian Watson, honestly.
I feel like, though, like Coleman, Wicks, Tillman, we don't really know. I can't say we really know, but Coleman and Wicks, again, this is like the 3 Spider-Man meme. It's like big game or nothing. Keon Coleman, big catch, touchdown, or nothing. Wicks literally switches series with Christian Watson. They are like the same guy in the same offense.
Yeah.
So this feels almost lateral.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly don't mind dropping Watson, but I don't know if these guys are enough. Yeah, maybe just hold Watson here for one more week and see what happens.
And you can take a shot on Tillman, but I still am waiting to hear the declaration that Jameis Winston is going to be the starting quarterback the rest of the season. I'm waiting for that. Why have we not gotten that?
Well, yeah, what is going on? Because didn't Dorian Thompson-Robinson have some kind of like, he hurt his finger in that game, right? And that's why he had to come out.
Right.
But I do feel like, sadly, I mean, let's not forget, this is the same team that every week said, no, Deshaun Watson is Deshaun Watson. Like, like why wouldn't they play Dorian Thompson-Robinson at this point?
Yeah. Stubborn with a capital S there. Well,
so according 2 hours ago, according to some Cleveland Browns podcast, Dorian Thompson-Robinson injured a tendon in the middle finger on his throwing hand. X-rays came back negative, but his status for Sunday's game against the Ravens is questionable. So maybe maybe they are forced to play Jameis Winston, or are we going to get Bailey Zappi?
If
they just signed, I think they just signed him off the Chiefs practice squad.
If they hate Winston that much, why do they even have him? Why not trade him to some team? Stupid RuneScape wants us to pick 2. Cook, Gibbs, Hunt, and then pick 3 between Tyreek, London, AJ Brown, and Higgins. Yeah.
Stupid choices.
Stupid good. All right, let's see. Kareem Hunt, everything in that Chiefs offense now. I guess the Raiders.
I have these guys both. I have both. I mean, you're starting Gibbs. You're starting Gibbs. They're all strong starts for me this week. You're starting Gibbs. It's hard for me to bench James Cook, but I don't think I can bench Kareem Hunt against the Raiders. The guy gets like 25. Like, the Chiefs are obviously like, whatever, dude. Like, if you die, you die. Like, you know what I mean? Like, You're not our long-term solution at running back. If you die, you die. Like he's like, it's like Andy Reid is like Ivan Drago.
Ivan Drago, yes.
If he dies, he dies. Like, whatever. We're gonna run you into the ground. Yeah, I'm going Hunt and Gibbs. Man, the wide receiver one's even tougher for me though.
Exactly.
You can't bench London against the Bucks. That's fantasy suicide. I don't think you can't bench AJ Brown ever. Tyreek gets Tua back. But T. Higgins gets the Eagles, who are giving up the most fantasy points to wide receivers, even after shutting down the Giants last week. Actually, I think they're second. I think they're second to the Ravens now. It might be second to the Ravens, or maybe even third. I'm not sure. But they're bad. They're bad. I don't know. I guess I sit Higgins here, but man, I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, to me, it's between Tyreek and Higgins. You could say, well, wait a week, but probably not.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that's kind of how I feel, but then there's a part of me that wonders, is that just like recency bias because Tyreek's been bad, and you know what I mean? And then I'm going to regret having Tyreek's 30-point game on my bench with Tua or something like that. So, yeah, I'll bench Higgins and Cook, and I'll hate it. I'll hate it.
Yeah, probably. All right, there we go. Connor Turatola. Speaking of Tyreek, was offered Tyreek for his neighbors. You taking Reek here?
I think I still got to go Tyreek. Still got to go Tyreek now that Tua is back.
Yeah, I'm going Tyreek here because it won't be a factor every week, but the Daniel Jones factor is still real. Sometimes I'll get him the ball. Sometimes things like last week will happen. Yeah, I'll take Tyreek here. Brandon Anthony, have Evans. Should I look for a trade? If so, who? Guess what? 5-2. Allen, Gibbs, Naji, Pollard, Thomas, Keenan Allen, Ridley. Okay, now I see why you're looking for a trade. But what do we do here? I would say flip Naji.
Yeah, let's flip Naji. Although, I mean, I know Pollard's been good, but man, he has a tough stretch coming up. But man, you can't have Ridley in your lineup. You just can't.
No,
you cannot start Ridley. Yeah, Naji. Who had? The thing is, like, who are you getting for Naji right now?
He's a running back with, name value, who's put up 2 straight 100-yard games with a touchdown.
Like, could you get Pickens? Could you still get Waddle? You think you could still get Waddle? Could you get Olave?
I bet you could get Waddle.
Yeah, I would trade Najee if I can get one of those guys. Pickens, Waddle, Olave. Maybe Zay Flowers coming off a bad game. Maybe Devonta Smith coming off a really bad game. I mean, maybe. I don't know if it's possible, but maybe.
I would do it. I mean, you need a receiver here. So let's do that. See the best receiver you can get for Naji. Let's now get to PM Chunk.
What's up? I think PM Chunk is like 7-0. Yep, I was right. 7-0.
7-0. Bringing the heat. Unfortunately, lost Godwin, but maybe Kupp can be the Godwin replacement. Also got Debo. All right, so good timing on that. BTJ, Mooney, Watson. Do I go all in on Fab for those guys?
No. Like Jalen McMillan, Ricky Pearsall, maybe like $8 to $10. Well, I don't know why I call it like 8 to 10 Fab, whatever they are, Fab dollars. I don't know what we call them. Whatever, 8 to 10. Jalen McMillan, maybe 15 to 20, because you're not desperate. I mean, you got Kupp, you got BTJ, you got Debo, you got Mooney. Like, you're not desperate at wide receiver. You're still pretty solid. So say like 8 to 10 for Pearsall, 15 to 20 for Jalen McMillan.
Yeah, those guys are not worth going all in on. I like McMillan, but I mean, you're not even, I can't say you're desperate. Yeah, you lost Godwin, but getting cut back, you still have good enough receivers. Is Jalen McMillan going to start for you over Donald Mooney? Maybe. I wouldn't even do more than 20, and that even feels too much. I would like 15 at the most. Brandon Anthony, following up that previous one, Brandon says he also has Bateman, who did boom. One of the very few who actually came through this week. Thank you, Rashad Bateman, for salvaging that last week video. Yeah, you still need a receiver though. I mean, come on, we're not rolling Rashad Bateman out every week just because of last week, are we?
No, we're not.
It was like
that was the Bucs.
Exactly. The reason I picked him is because he went against the Bucs. So
right.
John M. got offered Auton and Mostert for Pickens and Hunt.
Ooh, this is one we would have laughed at. Would have laughed at you. Now, strongly considering this.
Because essentially you're just getting one player because you're never playing Mostert alongside Auton, and realistically he's just a handcuff. So it's basically Auton for Pickens and Hunt. Hunt is, well, look, he has Breece and Bijan. Hunt is his number 3 running back. That's nice. Auton basically would become his flex.
I was kind of leaning the Hunt Pickens side. Which is your side, I guess, because you say you already have them.
He already has them. Yeah. CD, Wilson, Tank Dell. Okay.
Yeah, I just hold here. I think it's fair. I think it's pretty fair. But I think for your team, you got Breece, Bijan, and Hunt. You don't really need Auton. Like, I don't think Auton elevates your squad necessarily, but you got CD, Wilson, Tank, who knows what we're getting from Tank these days. Liggett. I mean, Pickens is clearly your wide receiver 3 here. You trade him away, now you have to roll out with Tank Dell every week or something. So, plus you got Bucky, who looks like Bucky is at least startable. Like, Bucky isn't dead. Like, Sean Tucker got 5 carries last night. Like, that's done. Like, there's a reason why Sean Tucker wasn't drafted, didn't play last year. Yeah, that was one. What do you call him? 1 week wonder. He was another 1 week wonder, like many guys we've seen this year. Yeah, I'm holding Hunt and Pickens.
I mean, this would be a definite gamble to go in on Auton potentially being, what people wanted him to be when he was drafted, right? An RB1. Maybe it happens, but this feels it's pretty risky here. So, I don't think you need to do this. You don't need to do this. All right, 95. Have an open spot, take a QB to back up, stream with Kyler because, Kyler didn't really do a whole lot to inspire confidence last night. Darnold, Tua, or Caleb, or since I'm good on RB and receiver, grab a tight end.
I mean, if Darnold, Tua, and Caleb are on your waiver wire, I'm not grabbing a QB. Like, if those guys are out there, I'm not worried, like, when Kyler goes on by, that there's not going to be any quarterbacks available. Like, if those guys are still out there, you're probably going to be fine. I would rather grab a running back or a wide receiver. I usually gravitate toward, I mean, it obviously depends, but I usually, if I just have an open bench spot and I want to, like, I'm looking for a lotto ticket, I want to grab a handcuff running back, a Blake Corum, a Braylon Allen. I don't know who else, people I'm probably forgetting off the top of my head right now, but you know what I mean? Somebody who's like clearly going to be next man up if the current man up gets hurt. Just grab one of those to see what happens. Because the nice thing about grabbing a guy like that, like let's say you grab Blake Corum. Kyron Williams goes through this week, doesn't get hurt. Next week, you don't have any remorse dropping Blake Corum if there's somebody you really want off the waiver wire. You drop him. You're like, okay, I took a chance. It didn't work out. Now I drop him and pick up that guy I really want off the waiver wire. So that's what I would do.
If all these quarterbacks are just out there on waivers, just play week to week. You don't need to stash one. MM17 standard waiver, Dobbs, Wicks, Vidal, Bateman.
I think Dobbs has to be number 1. Like I'm at the point now, like, so we talked a lot during the offseason and drafts, best ball drafts. We were like, we're kind of nervous about Jaden Reed in the 5th round because they're going to spread the ball around. Dobbs might be the guy who gets the most targets. I was saying I probably just want to wait and take Wicks last because he's going so late. It looks like Dobbs is going to be the guy that's going to get the most targets. That doesn't mean I'm out on Jaden Reed, because Jaden Reed is one of those guys that, like, he can turn 3 catches into 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he's always got that massive upside. But I think Dobbs has to be the number 1 out of this group. Has to be.
Yep. Talked about Dobbs on the waiver. I think he's number 1. That's the guy I talked about this week. Bateman is interesting, but he's going to be the number 2 choice here.
Yeah, and I will say, what did we hear anything about Zay Flowers? I know he got rolled up on, but then it was like he came back in. But was he playing a lot last night? Was he just kind of in and out?
That I don't know. I didn't hear anything definitive, so I guess we'll have to look into it.
Yeah, I wonder. Let me look how many snaps did he play last night.
Quinn is on the struggle bus. Needs some help. Lost the last 2. Look, reeling. I wouldn't say you're reeling, but yeah, we want to turn it around. Who to pick up? Only 29 fab. Can grab either 1 or 2 of these guys: McMillan, Coleman, Jennings, Tillman, or Troy Franklin.
I mean, you only have 29 fab, so it comes down to how badly do you need these guys. If I don't really need these guys, like if I have, I mean, these are all wide receivers, right? Yeah. So if I have like 4 or 5 really strong wide receivers, like if my wide receiver 4 is, George Pickens, Brian Thomas, guys like that, like guys you probably drafted late, maybe not, you didn't draft Pickens late, but you know what I mean? Guys like that who are kind of producing, who you didn't draft super early. I might not even drop any fab on these guys, because you don't want to be out of fab already. It's only halfway through the season. But if you just lost Godwin, if you just lost Ayuk, if you're 2 and 4 and you're hurting a wide receiver, I might drop it all on like Jennings and just hope he's him again. Hope he's him again.
Not the worst. Not the worst decision. I'm not spending more than a $1 or $2 on Franklin. I know you can pick him up, but again, you shouldn't have to outbid somebody for him. Coleman the same, not spending too much. Tillman the same. This is still a flyer kind of level. So Jennings is the one to chase if you're going to chase somebody. I think if you miss out on him, I would kind of use McMillan as my backup. Right? If I don't get him, he's my number 2.
Yeah.
So whether we're catching up here early, we had some discussions at the top of the stream. If you didn't catch us, so Rise has been chiming in, just agreeing, like we're not trying to call out your point of view, just saying in general, talking about Godwin being in there at the end of the game when, didn't look like they were going to win. It's part of the game. It's annoying. It's frustrating. And of course, everyone wants to blame somebody, and it's usually the coach, but it just happens. It happens.
Yep. It feels like this year, feels like this year has been one of the worst. And it feels like it's all the wide receivers this year. Like running backs are fine. Like running backs, like Derrick Henry out there at 30 years old getting 25 touches, just chugging along. I mean, he's chugging along slowly, but he's chugging along. Like, Joe Mixon looks like rookie Joe Mixon again. Saquon Barkley looks like rookie Saquon Barkley. Yet all these wide receivers just dropping like flies everywhere. Like, what is going on right now? What is going on this year?
It is just one of those years. And then real quick, Rose Mart. We did talk briefly about the Rams situation, Whittington. So what happened? Is McVay deceiving us?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I thought he was a good sneaky start this week. He obviously wasn't. You can move on from Whittington now. Yeah,
I already said I'm going to ignore any receiver in that offense who isn't Kupp or Nakua. Elmer Sanchez. Pickens is on the wire.
Yeah, you got to spend it all.
Have 136 out of 500 fab. Spend it all.
I mean, yeah, because you only have what about like 35% fab left. You gotta spend it all. There's no like who's gonna pop up on waiver wire that is worth more than George Pickens. You gotta spend it all. I don't even know if that's gonna get it for you, but you gotta try.
Right. Worth a shot. Go for it. And then we got JB. Have Auton, Hawkinson, and Komet. Thinking about trading Komet.
I like Komet. Komet was a guy we really liked all off season, and then they were talking about, oh, Gerald Everett might be the tight end too, and yeah, that never happened.
Well, I feel like it did happen in week 1. Like Komet really wasn't involved the first couple of weeks of the season, and then they're like, "What are we doing here?" Like, you know,
yeah, they're like, "Wait a minute, what are we doing here?" But I think Auton will probably be better than him in the short term. But remember, you get 3 weeks, then the bye, and then Evans back. So I wouldn't go crazy for Auton. I mean, I would not drop Komet if you want to try to trade Komet. Honestly, I would try to trade Hawkinson because I feel like people are going to get excited. You know what I would wait for? I would wait for Kevin O'Connell today or tomorrow or whenever to say, we're activating TJ Hawkinson. He's going to play this week. And then I would go sell high on TJ Hawkinson.
That's fair. Why not? Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I even said Komet is a waiver wire pickup because he had the bye. He's a little over half owned right now in fantasy leagues. It's not like a guy you have to hold on to. So I'm okay. Like if you need to clear room, you can drop Komet. It's not like you have to keep him. If you can trade him for something, sure, that's fine. But I would do what you said, trade Hawkinson first. Rate owner, should I be worried about Amari and Neighbors? Why would you worry about that? Those are good starters.
Yeah. I mean, I got a team that's going to probably have no Evans and no Metcalf this week, and I'm worried because I have to start Michael Pittman. You're getting to start Amari Cooper and Malik Neighbors. You want to? I'll trade spots with you if you want.
Yeah,
you can start Michael Pittman this week.
Yeah, I think you're okay here. All right, it says in Superflex was debating on picking up Auton and Mr. Unlimited on waivers.
Yeah, I don't think Russ should be out there in Superflex. No way. You should definitely pick him up.
Surprised if he is out there, but I guess nothing should surprise anymore. George Pickens was dropped. Jalen Waddle was dropped. All these guys get dropped. Okay, should you be worried? Not at all. And you should definitely pick up Russ if he's out there. Auton, sure. I mean, I don't know what your tight end is because you didn't say, but Auton is worth an ad if you need a tight end. Let's do Andrew Gill. Ooh, starting Troy Franklin over Deontay because he gets Surtain.
I mean, I certainly do not want to play Deontay Johnson this week, but I don't know if Troy Franklin is my answer. I mean, Troy Franklin might be better than Deontay Johnson, but it's going to probably be like it was last week where Troy Franklin gets 10 points and Deontay Johnson gets like 4 points. Okay, he's better, but it's not like you're like, ooh, yes, I started Troy Franklin this week. I don't know. I might still go Deontay here, but I really am not going to say yes to Deontay Johnson very much this week.
No, but this is, I think, beyond the line. If it's me and Deontay is healthy, I'm still going Deontay over Troy Franklin. Maybe you have somebody else that you could stream over him. JDH trade Chuba to get Marvin Harrison.
I mean, imagine this question like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You would have laughed, but you have to take Marvin Harrison. And now we're like, I don't know. I think I'm still taking Marvin Harrison, though. I'm going to gamble on that second half, the rookie here. We may see more Jonathan Brooks eventually. I'll gamble. I mean, it depends on how badly you need Chuba. Like if Chuba is your RB2 every week, then maybe not. But if you added Chuba off waiver wire in like week 3 or what after week 3 or whatever, and he's like your RB4 or something, yeah, I'll gamble on Harrison.
I guess. Yeah, I'm not completely out on Marvin Harrison. You figure it's got to get better.
I mean, sounds like it.
Yeah, I know. Part of me doesn't want to do this. I mean, I think I would only do it if you just lost Chris Godwin. You're down at receiver and you need some help. Maybe at least you feel better about him than whoever else you got on your bench. That's probably the only way I would do this. Sandy is reading this up. He said on Saturday, he was the one who asked who was least likely to visit the blue tent. Mason, Juju, Downs, and Pop. Guess what? Juju out. Downs. Well, he played, but he just.
I don't think he visited the blue tent at least.
No. Pop. I don't know. Did he puke in the blue tent? Maybe he did.
Yeah, I don't know if he visited the blue tent, but he certainly was not in the game very much.
And Mason, he started all of them except for Mason. Yeah.
I mean, none of them were good.
Yeah.
Juju didn't play. Even Mason, none of them were good. None of them were good.
Everyone is visiting the blue tent these days. Dan Henry, apparently not. He's not 5-2, 6-1. All right, there you go, 6-1. His next best team is 3-4. It's okay, you can turn it around. In standard, Garrett Wilson or Rico Dowdle.
Gotta go Garrett Wilson over Rico here.
Yes.
Yeah. Even the standard, I gotta go Garrett Wilson.
Absolutely. NTY. All right. 6-1. Here we go. Now the records are starting to climb up. Auton did come through. Absolutely. That was definitely a good boom pick. 10-team PPR, St. Brown, Debo, Lazard, Jennings.
Although I wish Auton didn't come through because it had to come at the expense of Mike Evans. I kind of wish he busted. I wish Evans came through and was healthy and Auton busted, but it is what it is.
What's the meme now? It's like, what did it cost? Everything.
Ugh.
Yes, you should pick up Jennings, and if you don't get Jennings, you should pick up Dobbs. Both these guys are better than Lazard, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
Even in a 10-teamer, you got to chase Jennings. AJ Fisk. What's up? AJ is also on a 10-teamer. Has JT Mixon Moss. And starting Sermon. I think we can put that experiment to a halt. Hill, Diggs, Moore, Jennings, Deontay. Traded Deontay for Chuba.
I think it's okay. I think it's fine. I don't think it's I'm not going to say one side one. I'm not going to say either side one here. I think it's fine. It's a very fair trade. Running back for wide receiver, probably very similarly valued here.
I mean, look, if JT does come back, then you're probably not starting Chuba because you'll have JT and Mixon. And then you got Hill, Diggs, Moore, Jennings. So I think it's fine value-wise. It's okay. I'm honestly curious. If things keep going the way they are, do we see Bryce Young back at quarterback?
I talked about that on the panic video, I think. Yeah, yeah. We might. Maybe the time to sell Deontay Johnson is here. Brother Pickle, welcome back. 4-3, 6-point passing TD, Dak or Darnold or Tua. I'm still going. Hold on before I say that. Let me make sure.
The Cowboys get the Niners. Let's see.
Yeah. I have. You know what? I have Dak and Darnold in the same tier. I have them both as solid starts this week. But Darnold does have the better matchup against the Rams, so I might go Darnold. But it's close between those two guys.
This is close really across the board. I mean, we're looking for who might throw touchdowns. I do like Dak this week. Darnold is fine. I don't know if I'm going to put him first. I really think we're going to see Tua just let it loose, let it fly this week. No guarantees here. But based on matchup, I'm probably going to go Tua with Dak a close second. But could go either way. And then in one running back, Rashad White, Bucky, or Brown. Rashad White, on the one hand, did come through. On the other hand, it was basically all garbage time in the fourth quarter.
It was all garbage time. I mean, you see those touchdowns. Like, he catches the ball, turns around, and he literally just jogs into the end zone. Like, the Ravens just laid down in the fourth quarter. Let's be real. They just completely laid down. Is it PPR? It's PPR. I mean, White does catch passes still. Even before that, he was catching passes. He was looking good in the passing game. I guess I go Rashad White in PPR.
Yeah, just because the other two aren't any more exciting. And then prioritize these receivers: Jennings, Coleman, McMillan, Tillman, Franklin, Tutu, Shepard. I think still Jennings number 1.
Yeah, Jennings number 1, McMillan 2. Probably Coleman 3, I guess.
Yeah, Coleman, Tillman, Coleman, close, and then Franklin, putting Tutu last. Trone, Force, with JD maybe sitting. Tua, Bo Nix, or Russ.
I guess I go Tua here. I'm probably not as high on Tua as you are because first game in a month, but he does have a good matchup against the Cardinals. I'll go Tua in this case.
I'll go Tua. These are all actually your 3 better QB streaming options this week. So no bad choices, but I'll go Tua first. Corey Miller. 12 team PPR trade, Connor and Brian Thomas for Gibbs. It seems like a lot for Gibbs. Not a lot, but I don't know. It might be too much with the way Brian Thomas is balling.
Yeah, and same with Connor. Jones, Connor, Monreal, London, Brian Thomas.
I think there's another team that wants to go all in on Detroit.
Yeah, I might just hold Connor and Brian Thomas here because, I mean, okay, Olave probably is going to be bad this week because another week of Spencer Rattler, but then he should get Derek Carr back. That's the only thing making me think maybe get Gibbs, because then you'll have a Monreal, London, Olave. You'll have Aaron Jones, Gibbs, but I don't even know. Like, you know what? I think I just hold Connor and Brian Thomas.
Yeah, I feel like it's a bit much, and you're doing fine. You're 5-2. Gibbs, isn't needed here. Drop Jets for the Chiefs on defense.
Yeah, don't the Chiefs
play the Niners? No, Chiefs just played the Niners. Sorry, I'm thinking Chiefs this week. Chiefs play the Raiders. Yeah,
get the Chiefs. One of the best real life defenses against the Raiders. Get the Chiefs.
Trone also wants to know 2 receivers in the flex between Tyreek, Kupp, McLaurin, Jason, Mooney, Mostert, Madison.
Well, Tyreek and Kupp are easy, and this would have been easy. Would have been easy Terry McLaurin number 3, but you got to be a little worried this week, or at least I got to be a little worried. Maybe you don't, but I do. Because not only is it probably going to be Marcus Mariota, but he's also going to have to face Jalen Johnson in the Bears secondary. I just don't I'm sure Terry will be fine, but I don't feel like it's going to be the biggest game for Terry. Am I crazy to risk Mooney over him against the Bucks?
Mooney, last time he faced the Bucks, 2 touchdowns, 105 yards. Now, of course, we're not getting that again. But look, if Marcus Mariota is starting, I'm going to bench Terry McLaurin. Sorry, I have seen this before. Not falling for it. Nope. So let's just say the first 3, if everyone is healthy and happy and fine. But if Mariota's the starter, we can switch Mooney for McLaurin. Jim Slim. I don't know. Has the window to trade Jordan Mason completely closed, or is just on the way?
It's on the way to closing. I don't know if it's completely closed. Worthy, I guess. I mean, at least what the only thing standing in the way of Xavier Worthy right now is Xavier Worthy. So, yeah, I guess I'll gamble on Worthy here. If you don't need Mason this week, obviously.
Man, I want more than Worthy. I think you should be able to get something more. Worthy has proven unworthy of being in fantasy lineups. I need more. I think you should be able to get more.
I mean, I want more too, but the problem is if you don't trade Mason this week, then they go on by, and then if CMC is back, you can't. Nobody wants Mason. Nobody's trading for Mason.
I mean, maybe this is the best you can get. I've got to think somebody will give you something more. What about Malik Wilson? Thank you, Malik. 2 receivers in a flex and full PPR has Amon-Ra, BTJ, and T. Higgins. Nice. Auton and Gibbs and Javonte Williams, right? Want to trade T for Pollard.
No. Nope, that's a hard no for me. No way. I am keeping T. Higgins. He looks great. Joe Burrow looks great. He's playing for a contract next year. I keep saying it, and people keep saying, oh, you're a clown. T. Higgins has been better than Jamar Chase this year. He's getting more targets. He's gotten more targets than Jamar Chase this year. His first read percentage is higher than Jamar Chase this year. I am not trading T for Tony Pollard. And Tony Pollard has like a brutal stretch of games coming up here. No way. I'm keeping T.
Yeah, I wouldn't do this. And look, Achane now all of a sudden has become, should be, much more valuable and startable. Gibbs and Achane, that should be a really solid 1-2 punch. And Javonte is startable as well. So I'm not sure what you're really gaining here by getting Pollard. You don't need Pollard. Just no, don't do this. And I wouldn't trade T. Higgins for any running back that unless you happen to be able to get a stud running back, which I don't think you will. All right, what about Tyler C? Thank you, Tyler. Tyler's also 5-2 and in a 10-teamer. Remember that 0.7 PPR league. Lamar and Love, Cook, Connor, Bucky, Sun God, Adams, Flowers, Odunze, Downs, got Ferg, and Hunter Henry. Pacheco and sadly now Evans are just sidelined. Any moves? Also heard that Cook is a sell.
I mean, I'm sure some people don't want to sell James Cook, but I wouldn't. I mean, again, if you can get something really good for him, do it. But I mean, the thing that jumps out to me here is you have Lamar and Jordan Love in a 10-teamer. Like, I'm not scared trading away Jordan Love. Like, if I could package Jordan Love and Hunter Henry to a tight end needy team and probably want to get it, or even if I could trade like Love and Cook or Connor, or maybe even Love and Bucky, one of those running backs, and get an upgraded running back. Like, I don't know. You probably can't get them. Could you get an Aaron Jones? Could you get an Achane still? That's what I'd be trying to do.
Maybe Achane because the Dolphins' offense has been so bad. Yeah, you might be able to do that. But yeah, your team is solid, but you could use another, like, for sure solid receiver. I think if you're not completely sold on Adams. So I think Adams is fine if you consider him your third receiver here because Sun God and then Flowers. So yeah, you're pretty good. Yeah, I don't know the whole Cook. Like, are we selling Cook because like we feel like he's overachieving? Is that what it is?
No, I think because he only had 12 carries last week and didn't catch a pass, and now everybody's panicked.
Oh, okay. I think Cook will be fine. I mean, I'm fine holding on to Cook. So for what that's worth. Jody Bedard, good evening. 18 PPR, 4-3. Who would get for Mason rest of the season if CMC is back? I have HN, Mason, B. Rob, James Williams. Didn't even talk about that. Ramondre, Chase Brown, Dowdle are available because it's an 8-teamer.
Well, I wouldn't drop Mason yet because he gets a very good matchup this week.
Even in an 8-team league, are we saying that Achane and B-Rob are just out there on waivers?
Wait, he's saying he has Achane and B-Rob. He has Achane, Mason, B-Rob, Jameson, Williams, Ramondre, Chase Brown, and Dowd.
He's like, are available. I see. I was like, that. Okay. Ramondre's available. He's worth picking up, but I wouldn't drop Mason for him.
No, I wouldn't drop Mason for him. No. And plus, I don't think you should drop Mason even when CMC comes back because you don't want to give up that CMC. Like, you don't want to drop Mason. Let's say after the bye, they're like, CMC is back, and maybe he plays a few weeks and he looks pretty good. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that tendonitis is popping up again. And now somebody else gets Mason. So I don't think you really, I know it's an 8-teamer, so maybe I'm wrong here, but I would just hold Mason. He's got a great matchup this week against that Cowboys run defense. He should feast. I know he didn't have a big game last week, but man, he got almost all the touches in his backfield again.
Yep. And then asking pick up Henry with Auton. If you already have Auton, I'd rather have Auton than Henry. Henry is going to be this week's trap play.
Probably.
Almost certainly. So no, just go with Auton. 95 asking if Singletary is droppable. Well, I know not everybody watched the very, very, very end, but the last minute of the waiver wire video, I did the cut list guys who you can drop. I did mention Devin Singletary. Not that you have to drop him, but I think if you need to, you can. What do you think? Are you holding on to if you can help it?
Yeah, I mean, this one's tough. I don't really want to drop these guys, but I also don't really want to hold these guys. And I understand if there's somebody better, like if you're going to go pick up Juwan Jennings or something, then drop Singletary.
Yeah.
If you're going to drop Singletary for, Trey Palmer, Sterling Shepard, like, nah, I will just hold Singletary. But if you're going to get Juwan Jennings, Jalen McMillan, somebody like that, sure, drop Singletary.
Right. Don't drop just for the sake of dropping. Rodney Woods got a 12-teamer here, 5-game winning streak. Goff, Barkley, Henry, Diggs, more Higgins and Njoku. Got Monty and Dobbs. Atwell, Chase Brown, Muth, Herbert, Dunze, Trey Tucker, a man of faith. Waiver wire got Tillman, Tolbert, McMillan to a Jonnu. I'm okay dropping Tucker.
Yeah, I'm definitely okay dropping Tucker. You know what? I think Tolbert is the one I'm adding here. I still like Tolbert. I know he's not the sexy new name right now because that was so 3 weeks ago or whatever it was, but he's still the clear number 2 in this Dallas offense. And you look at it the rest of the season, you sent me that thing from Mike Clay. The Cowboys have the second easiest QB schedule the rest of the season, and I think the 4th easiest wide receiver schedule the rest of the season. I remember, how I remember this last year? This is how I remember this last year. Because in my wife's fantasy league, who did she have? I forget who her quarterback was. It's a 10-team league. She had some quarterback, and he was pretty good, and then he got hurt. And somebody had just dropped, and it's funny, it happened again this week, but somebody had just dropped Dak Prescott that week to the waiver wire because Dak Prescott was terrible to start the year last year. He was terrible. Remember through 5 or 6 games, the Cowboys were terrible. He was terrible. And her quarterback got hurt during the game on Sunday. And I told her, because Dak was on bye that week as well, I said, go pick up Dak Prescott right now because he's free. He's out there. And she did. And Dak Prescott carried her to the championship last year. Fast forward to this year. Dak's been terrible. Everybody's like, it's over. They suck. CD sucks. Dak sucks. These guys all suck. They have an incredibly easy schedule. Don't be surprised if Dak Prescott, CD Lamb, do it again this year and dominate the rest of the season. So give me Tolbert. That was a long way to say give me Tolbert.
Nice. I mean, I find it hard to believe that CeeDee Lamb is going to be a buy low anywhere, even with the struggles. But Tolbert's just out there. I would scoop him up for sure. And Dak, definitely a buy low. I'll just say this. Look, Rodney, if it's my team, I'm going to drop Tucker. I'm going to drop Muth. I'm going to drop Herbert, because you really don't need to be starting Herbert. It's a 1 QB league. And I can even drop Tutu Atwell with Kupp coming back. And then I would pick up Tolbert, McMillan, Tillman, And if you really want a backup quarterback, I'd rather have Tua than Herbert. So there you go. I don't know if you get all those guys, but you get my point. All right, Boomer. No, it's not that bad. Only 4 teams make the playoffs. Oh, come on. We're still not even close to the playoffs yet. Last time we need to beat the breakout. Well, you might have to wait till the weekend. Can't tell you now. I'm not gonna reveal the secrets of the hidden temple. But there will be some guys that you could stash this week. Plus, I haven't really looked at my list yet, so I don't know who I'm stashing. Stephon Barr. All right, he's off to a 3-4 start. So let's help this team. Lamar, Naji, Bigsby, Kupp, Myers, Kraft, Shakir, Moss, Downs, Evans, Kirk, Watson, Andrews, and CMC. All right, well, what do we do here? Obviously, Evans is out. CMC, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer.
I wonder if this is a good time to try to trade Andrews and just roll with Kraft. People buying back into Andrews.
How can we not buy into Andrews? Yeah.
Like if you can get, like, let's see, what do you need? You probably need running back here. I mean, you need both, honestly, but at least you have Kupp, so at least you have one stud wide receiver. So, like, if you could trade Mark Andrews and get, like, could you get a Kareem Hunt for Mark Andrews right now? Could you get a Chuba Hubbard for Kareem Hunt for Mark Andrews?
Chuba, I bet you could. Well, Hunt too, probably, if somebody needs a tight end.
Like, I don't think you're getting like a stud. I don't think you're gonna get like
no,
really good.
You're not getting Kenneth Walker or Jonathan Taylor.
No. Maybe. I was gonna say Javonte, but I don't know if I am fully in on Javonte. I know this week I'm in on Javonte because he gets the Panthers, but you don't want to just make a trade for this week. I mean, I don't know. Maybe shoot even higher than that. See if you, maybe Aaron Jones came off a nice game, unfortunately. Yeah. Or maybe even try to package. You can maybe even try to package Andrews and Naji, and maybe you could get a stud running back.
True. You could upgrade from Naji. Or tank, you never know. Yeah, I think you're going to have to try to make a move to upgrade on both ends. Hate to say it, this team is going to miss Evans. Week 12 on, if you have a full health CMC and Evans, you could make a run. But yeah, you're going to have to try to do something here. Samuel Piazza needs help at QB. Are you on Bo Nix over Kyler?
No. Kyler wasn't bad at all last week. I mean, he didn't throw for a lot of yards, but he did what he can do, and that's running a long touchdown, running those touchdowns. So, no, I'm going Kyler.
Yeah, I just want to say, same thing. I would still go Kyler. Nix is interesting streamer, but I'm not going to go over Kyler. Dolphins ranked number 1 against QB. It's that no team over the past 4 weeks has had to throw against the Dolphins because they are the worst offense by far. So, yeah, that's why. All right, Cody wants to know we're rolling with the Broncos against the Panthers or the Chiefs against the Raiders.
Yep. I remember Thursday night, we got a lot of Broncos defense questions. I'm like, how are you? Like, just start the Broncos. It's Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to say just start the Chiefs. It's Gardner Minshew. The irony for Gardner Minshew is the reason they named him the starter over Aiden O'Connell is because he protects the ball better.
Yeah. Supposedly.
He had 4 touchdowns in 4 turnovers in 1 half of football last week or something. Yeah, give me the Chiefs against Gardner Minshew all day.
Yeah, Chiefs, just dominant defense. Mary Jo wants to know, and I believe it's an 18 league, right? She plays an 8-teamer.
Yes.
Did you go so far as to drop Marvin Harrison Jr. to get Juwan Jennings?
No, that's too much. It's too far. That's too far. Too far for me.
Agree. Now this is very different. Rel, drop Hopkins to get Jennings? Absolutely.
Yes. I can't even think, like, who would I not drop Hopkins for? Like, a
Nick
punter?
Westbrook-Ikine.
He outscored Hopkins last week. At least he got a
I know.
touchdown.
That's why I mentioned.
It was
Not
funny.
even the number 3 receiver in his own team.
It's funny because red zone flipped over, and I'm like, oh, is Ridley going to score? Because you can tell, right? It's like they're at the 8-yard line, they're throwing the football. You're like, okay, they probably flipped over to the Titans game because touchdown, right? So I'm like, oh, maybe Ridley's going to score a touchdown. Maybe D Hop's going to. Nope, Nick Westbrook and Keenan.
Yep. You can do this. Steven, full PPR with no Evans, but got the number 1 waiver pick. That's good. Interesting. You're going to go the running back Bigsby or Juwan Jennings. Let's see the squad. Bijan, Ramondre, DJ McLaurin, Deontay.
I mean, those are only your 2 running. You only have 2 running backs. That's it. You're just rolling with Bijan and Ramondre every week, rest of the season. I mean, if you really only have those 2 running backs, you probably need to prioritize Bigsby.
Yeah. This is close on both ends. I mean, Bigsby, generally, I'd say the running back would be more valuable, but we can't be sure what his role is going to be rest of the season. You have good, but not like any stud receiver. It doesn't mean Jennings is going to be a stud receiver. Yeah, given what you have, apparently, just go Bigsby. Dustin Forsberg has both Ferguson and Andrews. Okay. Which one to trade? You looking to flip Andrews?
I think Andrews has way more value right now. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You should be able to get more for him. So there you go. All right. And you know it. 410 Braxton knows that you love the tight end question. So let's go with this. Tucker Kraft or Jonnu Smith?
I think I'm going to go Tucker Kraft. He gets the Jaguars this week. The Jaguars. I mean, we 2 weeks ago, Cole Kmet went off against them. Last week, Hunter Henry went off against them. Let's just go Tucker Kraft.
It's a good matchup. Go Tucker Kraft against the Jags. I do like Jonnu Smith. I did mention Jonnu Smith again as a streamer, but I'm not going to put him over Kraft. Max, the subscriber. Trade. In this case, I'm going to assume it's Bijan Robinson.
Yeah. I mean, if that's Brian Robinson, I'm taking the Harrison Connor side.
Yeah,
for sure. If it's Bijan Robinson, which I assume it is, I'm taking Bijan here.
In this case, I'll go if it's assuming it's Bijan Robinson, I'll take Bijan Robinson. So you're saying should I trade Bijan to get those guys? No, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah,
keep Bijan. All right, Boomer. Let's see this happen. One of these days, he's going to drop a super chat, and we're going to have to answer it because of the amount. He's going to list every single tight end on the waiver wire. All right. Look forward to that.
I have to rank them.
I look forward to that.
The sad thing is, maybe not every tight end, because there's probably some tight ends out there that aren't like on the waiver wire that aren't even on rosters, and I probably don't even know who they are. Like,
yeah,
if I look at tight ends on my like
Johnny Muntz, Josh Oliver.
Yeah, I don't even know. Okay, I know Johnny Muntz on the Vikings. I don't know who Josh Oliver play for right now.
Well, he's also on the Vikings. I don't know why I randomly thought of Vikings tight ends.
Like, okay, who is Jaheim Bell?
Well, he's the rookie for the Patriots. I know because he went to Florida State.
Who is Devin Culp? Who is Tip Riemann?
Tip Riemann is a rookie too. He's in Arizona, but he's out there to block.
Who's Rodney Williams? Tanner Tola? Cole Fotheringham? What?
You just made that up.
No, I swear I'm looking on Sleeper right now. He's on the Raiders. He's on the Raiders, it says.
All right. We're not going to rank him just yet. Instead, we're going to go to Bucky Dent. Should I drop Chase Brown, Chubb, or Downs? Wow, people dropping Chubb already to pick up Jennings and possibly a QB. If JD is out, any word on JT? Nope. How well? Okay, let's start with the first one.
Well, I mean, if you need a quarterback, I mean, you can't drop Chubb, right? You held Chubb all year long.
Yeah.
You held Chubb all year long, and now you're going to drop it. Now you're going to drop him.
Even if you're out on Chubb, like we're not in on Chubb, at least you trade. Somebody would trade for him, wouldn't they?
Exactly. You can't drop Chubb.
No.
I don't really want to drop Chase Brown. I mean, he definitely, I know he wasn't great last week, but it was like 15-6, the carries in favor of Chase Brown. So it looks like he's taking over. I guess you can drop Downs. Like, I mean, if you really need a QB, like, look, if Jaden Daniels doesn't play, you need a QB. So you got to drop one of these guys. I guess it's Downs.
Yeah, I don't want to drop Downs just in case Joe Flacco gets back to the starting job. But I'd rather have Jennings right now, so I guess that's fine.
All right, we just got some big news. Browns are starting Jameis Winston this week.
Never thought I'd actually be thankful for Jameis Winston, who, by the way, let's not make him out to be some sort of saint. He's actually not that much better of a guy than Deshaun Watson somehow, but still.
Well, he made some mistakes in college, but at least like,
Well, yeah, not the same level, but look, it wasn't just a crab legs thing. He also had some sort of a sexual assault. But
anyways. Right. But that was like, okay, look, I'm okay. Not making excuses. Not making any excuses here. No. I'm not about to get us canceled. But there's a difference between like, I'm not making excuses for Jameis Winston. He should not have done it. No one should ever do this, ever. There's no right time for this, ever. Like, but it was at a college party. Okay, whatever. He was probably okay. Fine. He was an idiot. Like Jameis Winston, I feel like was just an idiot.
That's
Deshaun Watson was a calculated predator,
right?
Like like you know what I mean? It's like if somebody. It's like the difference between a serial killer who is like, I'm going out tonight to find somebody to murder, or somebody who gets in a fender bender, they get in an argument and they get in a fit of rage and they kill the person. It's like, okay, yeah, they're both wrong. Like, I'm not saying one, but there's a difference between those two people. Like, yeah, one person made a terrible mistake and they should be punished, but the other person like made a conscious decision day after day, you know what I mean, to be a predator. And then never really even apologize for it.
Oh no. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't know though. If fender bender puts you in a fit of rage where you're just straight up murdering people like Grand Theft Auto,
well, you don't. Okay, come live in California. You'll see it like every day. Like,
okay. Well, there you go.
People get a fit of rage, leaving their driveway in Southern California. Like, it's like, yeah.
Well, that's funny. You don't see that in Texas because you don't get out if someone honks or whatever. You don't do that because you know that pretty much everyone around here is packing. So you just leave people alone.
You're gonna get shot.
You don't do that. There is no rage here because everyone's like,
So sure, Jameis Winston is not a saint. That is for sure. He's not a saint. He definitely has made some mistakes, but it seems like he doesn't make those mistakes anymore, and he seems to be a good guy. Like, there's nothing about Deshaun Watson seems redeeming at all.
No,
he doesn't seem remorseful. He doesn't seem like a good guy. Like get this guy out of here. We don't need Deshaun Watson in our lives ever again. We just don't.
No, thankfully, we don't have him, at least for the rest of this year. And yeah, like for fantasy football purposes, I think we're all thankful it's Jameis Winston, and he'll definitely give some entertaining press conferences as well. This is a good time to remind you that the quarterback for the Rams, for the time being, is still Matt Stafford. Who knows if the rumors are true? Maybe he's wearing a different uniform next week. But for the time being, you have 48 hours to take advantage of, hey, possibly in his last game as a Ram, Matthew Stafford getting 1 yard as a Ram. Take the higher on this because you get this as a free pick. If you join Underdog for the very first time as a new customer, you get this freebie, Matt Stafford. Again, just getting 1 yard. And you get this if you sign up right now for the very first time on Underdog and make a pick. Do one of those pick'ems. You might as well because you already get a free pick and then use any other pick. Just make sure that when you sign up for the first time, you're using that promo code ENDGAME because it gets you the freebie plus your deposit match up to $1,000 worth of bonus cash in your account just for signing up. They will match 50% of your initial deposit. And you also get all sorts of goodies for the rest of this month. So take advantage while you can. It is still Boostober, which means I only have 10 days left to say that. Let's get to Humberto Juarez.
But that also means we only have like 10 days left till Halloween.
That's right. Our favorite of all the holidays. Goff, Lamb, Hill, Adams, Kelsey, Gibbs, Jones, bench, CMC, Brooks, Spears, Downs, Jennings. Should I pick up Tua if you got Goff?
I think I just roll with Goff. I know it's a tough matchup for Goff this week, but he's had a bunch of tough matchups and he's come through. I'm just going to roll with Goff.
Yeah, Goff has been solid. Like, obviously, I like Tua, but even with Tua back, I can't say that this Dolphins offense is suddenly going to be as good as the Lions offense. So, no, you're fine with Goff. Everything else looks pretty good. I mean, I know you got Hill, but again, you don't get extra points for stacking, so no problem. Josh Lieberman, Monty for Waddle and Pollard.
I got to go Waddle and Pollard.
Yeah.
I got to go Waddle. Now Tua's back. Give me Waddle and Pollard.
Yep. Yeah. If you're getting the Waddle Pollard side, do it. Rusty Shackelford. Ooh. Trade Jamar Chase for Bowers and Tyreek.
Yeah, give me Bowers and Tyreek. You're getting the tight end one, plus you're getting what should be one of the best wide receivers now. Yeah, give me Bowers and Tyreek.
Yeah, this is a great chance. I didn't think there would necessarily be a buy low window on these Dolphins receivers still with Tua coming back. Apparently, we've got a few more days. Wish I could do this in our leagues, but we can't because we have endgame viewers who are super smart too. Broseph, offer G. Will and Dobbins for Gibbs. Too much?
No, I think it's fine. I'll take Gibbs. I would take Gibbs here. Okay. Dobbins has a great matchup this week. Dobbins should be really good. But I'm starting to get James Robinson vibes. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, a few years ago, after James Robinson, who had an incredible year with the Jags as a rookie, tore his Achilles, came back the next year, and was great like the first 4 games. Everybody that had James Robinson was like, I've won my fantasy league. Like, literally, that's what people were saying. Like, I won my fantasy league.
Absolutely.
I won my fantasy league. I got James Robinson with my last pick, and he's going to be a top 5 running back. I won my fantasy league. And then he suddenly started to be horrible. And not like with injury. He just started to be horrible. And then eventually they traded him, right? They traded him like mid-season to some team, and then he got cut. And he was gone. Like, that was it. Now, Dobbins has more pedigree than James Robinson for sure, but J.K. Dobbins has not been very good recently, not very efficient. And you got to remember, he is coming off one of the most devastating injuries a running back can have. So we'll see what he does this week, but I'll still take Gibbs here.
Right, because last night, not too good. I mean, it was just a down game in general for offense. 14 carries, 40 yards. And even the week before, like, he had a good fantasy game, but he was still under 4 yards a carry. He was just good through volume. So long story short, you can do this. You can do this to get Gibbs. Robert Perkey needs to get over his draft addiction. Yes, that's right. Robert's the one with 30 teams.
And you went 25. I don't even know.
Hats off to you.
Like, I honestly haven't even checked all my lineups to see. Like, I'm sure I have at least one team out of like the 15 that I have where I like, oh, that guy didn't play and he was in my lineup. I'm sure I do. I'm sure of it. Yeah. How do you 30 teams and you went 25-5? Well done.
The bad news is he has somehow Evans, Ayuk, and Godwin on almost every team. So good luck, I guess. I mean, how do you have all those guys on every team? That's almost impossible. But you're going to be very busy tonight making waiver wire claims for Juwan Jennings and Jalen McMillan, I guess.
And now Cedric Tillman, because we get Jameis Winston
And
against
Cedric
the
Tillman.
against
there
the
you go.
Ravens.
Well, look, at the very least, this is a good week for waiver wire pickups. A lot of viable options. Scuba Steve is 3-4 in a 12-teamer. Lost Shaheed. Yeah, okay. Got Goff, Hill, Olave, Hall, Stevenson, Kraft, Jacoby, Pop, Ray Davis, and Vidal. What moves?
I mean, there's not a lot you can do here. Olave doesn't have a lot of value right now. You're finally getting Tua back, so you don't want to trade away Tyreek. You don't want to trade away Brees. Stevenson doesn't have a lot of value right now. Jacoby, there's not a lot you can do here. But you should also feel pretty good about this team. I mean, Hill should be getting much better. Yeah, this week may be a struggle for Olave again, but then he should be getting much better. Stevenson should get better. Jacoby hopefully will finally play this week. I think this week you got to just roll what you got and hope it's good enough. And this team should definitely start picking up here.
And if this is everybody, which it looks like you listed bench players, but this must be a very shallow bench. I mean, you don't have hardly anybody on your roster. Yeah, waiver wire moves is what I say. Try to get some of those upside players. Nate Sopla. Bowers or Kelsey? Gotta be Bowers, doesn't it?
Gotta be Bowers. Yeah.
Kelsey, Dell. That's a little trickier.
I mean, it should be Dell. I know it's like you don't want to play Dell after last week, but they get the Colts this week. Yeah. I feel like CJ Stroud is going to have a huge game. And if he's going to have a huge game, it's not going to all be Stephon Diggs. Tank Dell is going to get some too. And didn't Tank Dell get 2 end zone targets last week and they just didn't connect?
Yeah, he almost had a touchdown.
I'm going Dell.
I'm going Dell too. And not just because Ladd didn't go off or anything. Ladd is still solid, I think. Houston, well, CJ Stroud specifically, just much better at home for whatever reason. So I'll go back in on Dell. Anthony G. Is Dowdle worth a roster spot?
Oh, yeah. Definitely worth a roster spot. He's the lead back in Dallas. I mean, it depends. It depends who you're dropping, but yeah, he's definitely worth the roster spot.
Yeah, definitely. Michael Lewis, you're talking about the Dobbins drop off potentially. So does this mean you sell, I guess, high or sell now on a guy like Dobbins to get Pickens?
Yeah, I would just take Pickens in PPR. I would just take Pickens.
I would take Pickens too, especially now that we got Russ cooking.
Go ahead. I'm just gonna say I'm not completely out on Dobbins. But that was a good matchup on Monday night last night. He didn't look very good. He gets an even better matchup this week. I'm in on Dobbins this week. I think he's gonna have a nice game. But if he struggles again, like if he's only who do they play this week? What terrible defense does he get this week? Against the Saints. Like if he's only running for like 3.5 carries this week against the Saints, then yeah, I'm like, okay, we got to start being nervous about Dobbins here.
Right. No, I'm glad you mentioned that too. If you have Dobbins, look, still do this. If you're going to get Pickens for Dobbins, that's fine. But generally speaking, you have Dobbins, you still play him this week against the Saints. You almost have to. But this might be a good time to see what you can get from him, especially if he does have a big game this week. Boomer, also a Dolphins fan. I don't really want to get too deep into this. He's not going to use that special guardian cap. I think Achan was using it after his concussion off last week.
I do have to say, look, it's his head, it's his brain, it's his choice. But I do think this is crazy. I think this is absurd. Like, really? Like, I know you look like Darth Vader from Spaceballs. I forget what his name was.
Dark Helmet.
Dark Helmet. But it doesn't matter. Like, really?
Dark.
And also, here's my real question. It's not like the guardian cap doesn't completely prevent concussions, but limits the risk, and they force players to wear it in training camp, just make these guys wear it in the game. Just force them to. Just say you have to wear it. You have to wear it. Like, if you really care about player safety and people's and brain trauma, just make them all wear it. Who cares if like their heads look too big for their shoulder? Who cares? Make them wear it. Like, I don't want every time helmet to helmet be like, oh great, you know, they just got brain injuries. Like, make them wear it. Make everybody wear it.
Well, why not? If it's your second time, then it's mandatory. You get one, okay, whatever. After your second one, that's it. Put the cap on. I mean,
I think it should be mandatory for the only reason players don't want to wear it is because it doesn't look cool. That's it. That's it. It's not like it's restrictive. It's not like, it's not like it weighs a ton or whatever. Like, now I'm all slow. Like, it just doesn't look cool. That's it. That's it. It just doesn't look cool.
No. But he didn't die. Did you die? Needs help trade possibility. Okay. PPR 2 receiver, 2 running back, tight end, 3 flex. Evans, Harrison, Myers, Tank, Keon, Ray McLeod, and Bub Means on the same squad. Have Chase Brown, Rashad White, B-Rob, Braylon Allen, Brooks, Ferg, Auton, Jalen. He says needs help trade possibly. I don't see a trade. I guess he's asking, is there a trade that could possibly happen here?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be tough too because, I mean, you could try to trade Mike Evans right now, but no one's giving you fair value for Mike Evans. Marvin Harrison has lost all value. I mean, maybe you could still try to trade Marvin Harrison and try to get something decent back for him. Tank Dell coming off a 0. I mean, maybe you could try to package Harrison and Coleman, but what are you really getting for Harrison and Coleman?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Harrison still has a little that name value, but yeah, you can't assume you're getting anything great in return for him right now. Oh man, yeah. At least Evans is coming back. At least there's that. It's not like Chris Godwin. Oh man, Harrison is the one. I just don't know exactly what to do with him.
Yeah, Harrison's killing you right now.
We got new membership here, Lindsay Clark. Thank you, Lindsay. I know she's been on for a few shows now. We'll definitely, if you put any questions there, we'll put them up. And then Michael Bryan, 5-2, non-PPR, had Juju and Ayuk, traded Kelsey for Pickens. All right, that looks decent. DK, Deontay, Pop, Douglas, Jennings, Dobbs, Sutton, and Watson all on the wire. This is non-PPR.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. DK Metcalf is on the wire.
Unless, no, see, this is what it fooled me last time. DK, Deontay, Pop, Douglas, period. So I think
my Jennings, God. I was going to say, I'm like, I know it's I know it's non-PPR, but this guy gets you like 100 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah, I just kind of read them all together, but yes, punctuation matters, boys and girls. Jennings, Dobbs, Sutton, and Watson. So
I think, yeah, Jennings number 1, Dobbs number 2.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I get it. I get it now, Michael. That makes sense. I was like, yeah, go pick up DK Metcalf, but you got DK Metcalf. But yeah, Jennings. I still think Jennings number 1, Dobbs number 2.
You're going to need somebody this week because DK might not play. Pop Douglas, think he'll play, but I don't know how much I really want to play him. I mean, definitely, I think if you miss on Jennings because somebody else gets him, try for Dobbs. And if you strike out on both those two.
Do we need Pop Douglas in non-PPR? I don't think we need Pop Douglas.
Well, that's true. It is non-PPR. Maybe just go Dobbs anyways.
Yeah, you don't need Pop. Pop is fine in PPR, but you don't really need him in non-PPR.
Good point. Don't know who else you maybe could drop, but well, you do have Pickens now. At least that's good. All right. Yeah, definitely chase one of those guys. Daniel Marini, Baker, or Russ?
I think I'm still rolling with Baker. I know you're like, oh man, Evans out, Godwin out, but he's been so good. think I still got to roll with Baker.
This week, which, and by the way, someone said Baker, that garbage time helped him win his matchup. I mean, thank God for the garbage time for a lot of these guys. I mean, I want to say it could still be a high-scoring game against the Falcons. You know, this Bucs defense is still going to give it up. I think Baker a little bit more now of a floor play than a ceiling play. Obviously, there's no way we can say he has that same type of ceiling without both his receivers, but he is still startable. Russ, the concern with Russ is they just really might not have to throw as much against the Giants because the Steelers defense could just swallow them up. So, yeah, I think I could still go Baker over Russ too. JDH. Chuba for Harrison. Straight up, is that it is? Trade Chuba for Marvin Harrison or Pacheco.
Well, I don't want to trade for Pacheco right now.
No.
I still think Chuba for Harrison is fair, depending on what you need. You got Adams, Brian Thomas, Higgins, Dell. You already have McMillan. Nice. Bijan, Achane, Hunt, Etienne, Brooks. Yeah, I don't really know what you need here. You probably need wide receiver, but I don't know if Harrison's the answer. Yeah, I think it's fair.
It's close, I guess, because I was saying I was leaning more towards the Chuba side. You were leaning Harrison. Now that I see you have Bijan and Achane should definitely be startable. Hunt is a solid RB3. If you have Chuba, yeah, you know what? This is fine because you don't really need to start Chuba anyways. You might come out ahead if Brooks starts to take over in that backfield because you have Brooks and you traded Chuba. So, yeah, why not do this? Go for Harrison, not Pacheco. Not trading for Pacheco, just period. All right, then Jody Bedard, got Deontay, AJ Brown, Amon-Ra, and BTJ. Would it be better to drop Deontay for Jennings?
No, not dropping Deontay Johnson. You don't have to start him this week against Surtain, but don't drop him.
Right. Timothy James, B. Pick 3, Devontae, Reed, Downs, Bucky, Rico.
Oh, Josh Downs. I think I go Devonta Smith, Jaden Reed, and Bucky Irving.
Yeah, the first two are automatics here. Richardson starting. We just can't play Downs anymore, sadly. Bucky, Rico. Somebody did make a good point earlier. It might not just be, yeah, partly it was garbage time. They were down big, whatever, Rashad White. But look, the leading, maybe not leading receiver, but maybe the main benefactor from Godwin Evans being out is Rashad White catching passes. He might wind up leading the team in receptions. He just dump it off a whole lot. So we got to be back in on Rashad White. What does that mean for Bucky? I think he's still mostly the early down back. Sean Tucker was clearly running third in that backfield, although he was involved. But yeah, I think the hot hand thing is kind of going to go away. All that to say, I probably would go Rico a little bit over Bucky just because I feel slightly better about his opportunities.
Well, I'll say this, because, yeah, that is a good point about Rashad White. But if we look at the first half last night when the game was still, I guess, somewhat close, both White and Bucky had 5 carries. White had 3 targets. Bucky had 2. So I still think Sean Tucker, he got those 5 carries, but then he didn't get any more carries the rest of the game. I think Sean Tucker is, they gave him a chance last night to okay, fine, thanks for your service. So I still like Bucky more. I don't know, Rico, that Dallas run defense. I don't know, it's close.
It's close between those two. Right, next up is Figgy Smalls, aka Big Fig, aka the notorious FIG. All right, Figgy. 2 and 5. That's not good. Half PPR. Richardson is killing you. Understand it.
Yep.
Have Adams, Harrison, Olave, Puka, JSN. You have a lot of injuries. That's what's killing you. Hall, Connor, Mason, Chubb, Javante, Ferguson, and Andrews. All right, what are we doing here?
Well, you're dropping Richardson and streaming somebody. Sam Darnold, Tua, Kirk Cousins, somebody.
Anybody?
Somebody who won't kill you. Adams, yeah. Marvin Harrison's killing you too. Adams is killing you too because the Lave's killing you. Yeah, all your wide. Honestly, all your wide receivers are killing you. I mean, every one of your wide receivers is killing you. Wow.
Yep.
Oh man. Yeah. Jeez. Look, maybe with the word that Puka they're opening up his practice window. Maybe this is a sell high opportunity. I mean, I would like to hold Puka, but can you wait around 3 more weeks potentially for Puka? Like, what if we try to package like Puka and Mason while they still have some value? Like, while Mason still has some value, and go out and get like I don't know. A Terry McLaurin, an Amari Cooper, a T. Higgins. I think maybe you could get T. Higgins still. A Zay Flowers. Get guys like that, like guys that can actually help you now.
Yeah. This team, you don't need to wait and hope that Puka comes back. And look, you eliminate the risk of Puka not coming back as soon or getting re-injured or Matt Stafford getting traded and Puka being, whatever. Trade Puka now, trade Mason now. You got Ferguson, great. Trade Mark Andrews now. Trade all 3 of these guys, just field best offers. And I'm just say go all in on receiver. Because you have Hall and Connor 1-2 at running back. You got Chubb you can play, possibly. Javante is playable. So, yep, I would just do that. Trade those 3 guys right now and get as good as receivers you could possibly get. You can stream quarterback and be fine, right? Don't trade one of these guys for
don't do that.
Sam Darnold or Kirk Cousins or whatever. Manny Calderon, Mahomes, Wilson, or Stafford.
I think I'm going to go Stafford because I'm going to assume he will still be a Los Angeles Ram and he will still be throwing to Cooper Kupp and he will be going against the Minnesota Vikings at home. I'm going to go Stafford.
Yeah, Mahomes, not even playable, really. Just go Stafford. Again, that's if Kupp plays. If Kupp doesn't play, I'm out. I'm just going to go Wilson. Anthony G. Streamed Auton because Ferg was on bye. Should he hold Auton?
Yes. Hold Auton.
Yeah, why not? I mean, if he comes through with a big game again, then all of a sudden you might have a trade asset on your hands. Mike O'Brien got the membership. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. He was on earlier. And then now we got John Weishring. Has Hurts, Cousins, Cook, JT, Irving, Bigsby, Chubb, Stevenson, McConkey, Neighbors, Lamb, Kincaid, and Henry. Who are you starting?
I'm starting Hurts. I'm starting Cook and JT. Starting Neighbors and Lamb. Starting Kincaid at tight end. And I'm probably flexing Bigsby.
Yeah, let's hope JT is back. So you can start JT. I know it's tempting to go Cousins. Just start Hurts. Just start Hurts. So yeah, I think I agree with all that. I don't know. I know Kincaid continues to be underwhelming. I'm not starting Hunter Henry. It's a trap. It's a trap. Not doing it. He's got another one here. He says Keenan Allen and Juwan Jennings are available.
I think he'll have to go Keenan Allen.
Yeah? Didn't think you were in on Keenan.
I'm not in on Keenan, but I mean, I'm not going to sit here like Jennings is far from a sure thing. Keenan, the number 2 in Chicago, at least. I think I still got to go Keenan Allen.
I'm leaning Jennings here. I'm leaning Jennings. This is close. I mean, look, let's go back to the lineup. Is there? I don't know if we get both, but are there two players? Look, Kincaid, Henry. Oh, whatever. If you're gonna play Henry, then do you really want Kincaid? If not, I would just drop Henry to try to get one of those receivers.
Yeah.
Well, you don't really have a receiver to drop. You only have 3 receivers. I mean, if you have Jalen Hurts, do you need Kirk Cousins? Would you drop Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, I don't want to give somebody Kirk Cousins this week, but at the same time, I don't need Kirk Cousins. If I need to pick somebody up, I'll pick somebody up.
Yeah, I would do that. You only have 3 receivers. Yeah, I definitely would try to get both those receivers, drop Henry and Cousins. And then Miguel Perez Jr. Thank you, Miguel. And let's see. I'm sure you dropped a comment somewhere down below. Look for it. Let's keep moving, though. Oh, there it is. All right. Needs help with 2 leagues. Here's a 10-teamer. Mahomes, Henry, Bijan, Wilson T. Laporta. No judgment here.
Okay.
6 rounds. Fine. Javonte Shakir. Traded for Goddard and Devontae. You traded Javonte and Shakir for Goddard and Devontae? Is that what it is? I mean, I guess that's fine. I think that's fine.
Yeah, it's all right. Fine. What are we doing here? He's got Mahomes, Henry, Bijan, Garrett Wilson, T. Laporta.
Well, if we're judging the trade, I think it's okay. I'm not like Goddard's a guy I necessarily want to trade for, but Devontae, more upside than those guys. So, you don't have to start Mahomes in a 10-teamer. So if there's a better streaming quarterback, then you can do that this week. Otherwise, you're set.
You can, honestly, in a 10-teamer, you can drop Mahomes.
That's what it's come to. And yeah, I lost Godwin in both leagues. That's fun.
That hurts.
Not fun.
Not fun at all.
All right. Brady. Would you trade McLaurin for Nico?
How many weeks is Nico? Is this going to be week 3? Or week or
2 already? That feels like it's maybe it has been. Man, time flies by, so it's hard for me to judge. He last played on the 6th of October. So yeah, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks, so you won't have him. But you know what the good news is? Okay, you don't get him this week against Indy. That's not fun. But then you don't have to worry about him next week against the Jets. Although maybe the Jets aren't that scary anyways. Yeah, I think I still take Nico here. Like Terry might get Mariota this week, which basically means you don't want to start Terry this week either.
Right.
So now you only have really 1 week without Nico and Terry. And then you get Nico back potentially. I think I'm on Nico. Give me Nico.
Yeah, I think basically, given the fact that Mariota might be the quarterback, you're avoiding that this week. I mean, of course, you need somebody else to start, but yeah, I think you can do this. Cagenomics. Kamara, Harrison, too much for Lamb? No.
I think I just take Lamb here, honestly.
Yep.
Kamara going the wrong way. Marvin Harrison going the wrong way. Give me Lamb.
Give me Lamb too. Yeah, not too much. Reed, Monty for Lamb?
Yeah, give me Lamb. Give me Lamb.
Yeah, I think I like the first one better. If you're choosing here, I would do the first one for Lamb. All right, Samuel's got a defense question here. Vikings against the Rams or Chargers against the Saints?
Got to go Chargers. Got to go Chargers against Spencer Rattler. I mean, what?
Yes.
This guy is out. This guy is battling Will Levis for the best highlights every week. Who's giving us the best highlights?
Yep. It's the Chargers.
You know what was frustrating last week? I had him on Thursday night. I had him on underdog higher than half an interception. And he had that one where like it went like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, there it is, a pick six. And they're like, no, it's a fumble. That wasn't a fumble. That was an interception. Come on. So, anyways.
Yeah, those are the high risk reward ones. Actually, it's funny, in his debut, I went off where I was like, I'm just going to go for the steep odds. So I picked Rattler over half a fumble. He didn't fumble, but if he would have hit big. Maybe this week. Marcel Harms in 16-man, 1 running back, 1 receiver, 1 flex. Got CMC, Mason, Waddle, Olave, Harrison, Higgins, Flowers, Kraft. No fans. Trade. Okay. Kraft, Waddle, and Higgins for Lamb and JSN.
No, I think this is too much. JSN doesn't like. Okay, this is Kraft, Waddle, Higgins for Lamb. This is basically Waddle and Higgins for Lamb. Nah, I'm keeping Waddle and Higgins. Waddle should be getting much better, and Higgins has been great. I'm just keeping Waddle and Higgins here.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, come on, JSN, not going for it. And also, look, this is a 16-teamer. Well, I guess you're assuming JSN is startable, which he should be, but no, keep what you got. Actually, you got a pretty good receiver core here when they're healthy.
Is JSN startable?
He should be. He should be. Here, what else should I do? He's asking, what else should I do? Well, okay, he says 1-1 and wait, what? There's no way you can only start one of those receivers and 1 flex. Is that possible?
I mean, you have a really good team for a 16-teamer. Waddle, Olave, Harrison, Higgins, Flowers, and you have all those guys in a 16-teamer. Then you got CMC and Mason. Like, you're good, man. This is a great team for a 16-teamer.
Yeah, I mean, you're starting Mason. You're starting, I guess, Higgins this week, and then probably Flowers second if he plays. Yeah. Miguel, here's the second part of his 12-teamer. Has Hurts, Henry, Ramondre, Sungod, Devontae Smith, Ferguson, Kincaid, Lockett, Ernest Johnson. Lost Godwin, of course. Here are the waiver options: Dobbs, Bateman, Judy, Watson, McMillan.
I still got to go Dobbs number 1. Are we in on Judy with Winston? I don't know.
I would go McMillan over Judy.
Yeah.
Shit, I might go Bateman over Judy.
Yeah, probably Dobbs, McMillan, Bateman, top 3.
And you can drop Ernest Johnson. He's just I desperately need somebody for a bye week kind of play, and you shouldn't need him this week. So do that. Lindsay has a question. Have Neighbors, Jefferson, and Adams, but lost Godwin, unfortunately. Anyone could still be out there to pick up. Well, it's hard to say.
Well, you got to give us some names. I mean, obviously Jennings, Tillman, maybe Dobbs. We're seeing some Dobbs questions. Maybe Tolbert. Seeing some Tolbert questions. It's going to really depend. McMillan, Jalen McMillan of the Bucks.
Yeah. There are a lot of options this week on the waiver wire. So you still have 3 good receivers. That's the good news. I mean, I don't think you're looking for somebody who's going to start this week. But Jennings is still the first choice. I think McMillan the second choice. Leo Hilo, quick question. All right. Do you think Cedric Tillman, Trey Palmer, Troy Franklin, or McMillan? Do I think they're worth picking up?
I think I'm going Tillman number 1. I'm going to gamble on Jameis Winston going out there, leading the Browns to victory. I mean, they're playing the Ravens, so probably not. Okay, I'm going to gamble on Jameis Winston going out there and almost leading the Browns to victory. But because of almost leading the Browns to victory, the Browns are like, you're our guy. You're our guy rest of the season. And now I got the wide receiver 1 for Jameis Winston.
There you go.
McMillan would be 2 for me. Maybe I'm too high on Cedric Tillman. It's very possible.
It's either Tillman or McMillan. I might have McMillan slightly over Tillman. I'm looking long term, but if you need somebody for this week, Tillman probably makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the more sensible move, to be honest.
Well, nothing is sensible these days in fantasy football. Cody Greenwood asked this in the Discord. Someone's willing to trade Burrow for a quote-unquote good wide receiver. I really don't like this. I've got Amon-Ra, Tyreek Evans, Deontay Olave.
I'm staying no. I'm staying no.
And he's saying make a claim for Stroud. So
Yeah,
Stroud's
I'll just make a claim. I'll just get Stroud for free. For free. Thank you very much.
Yes. Stroud is a great start this week. Just grab Stroud. All right, Mary Jo, it is an 8-teamer, 6-point touchdowns. Let's set the lineup here. Got Hurts, yes. You can definitely start Hurts over Daniels this week. Yep. Connor, Bijan, Hubbard, B-Rob, AJ, McLaurin, Waddle, Harrison, McBride, Komet.
Yeah, all the good players hurt. Connor, Bijan at running back. AJ Brown, Waddle at wide receiver. McBride at tight end. Am I flexing Chuba or B-Rob? Chuba gets the Broncos. I might go Brian Robinson over Chuba.
Yeah, I think with the matchup this week, you can sit Chuba. All right, there you go. Good luck, Mary Jo. Abel is here. How are we doing? Thank you. The team is Mahomes, Mayfield, Connor, Walker, Stevenson, Hunt, Ferguson, Njoku, St. Brown, Flowers, Adams. Wow, in 1 week, lost Ayuk and Godwin.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, so now we need some wide receiver depth. And though, yeah, he had Baker Mayfield and Pat Mahomes. Well, man, your strength is no longer your strength. You still have 3 good receivers, at least.
You probably got to try to trade Hunt. Or maybe Connor, whoever gets you more. Between Hunt and Connor. And then maybe, try to go get a wide receiver. Try to go get a Devon Smith, and Amari Cooper, a T. Higgins. Somebody like that. Maybe even Olave if you want to buy low on Olave. Because you have Connor, you have Walker, you have Stevenson, you have Hunt.
Yeah, you can do that. Maybe since you have Ferguson coming off a big game and Njoku might have value to somebody, you can get somebody better there. You don't need 2 tight ends. So yeah, just do that. All is not lost. I know it hurts. I mean, you can't pretend it's a good thing to lose 2 of your top receivers, but you still have a good enough team to compete. J.R. Fuentes, guess what? Also lost Ayuk and Godwin at the same time. Got Kyren Williams, Walker, Connor, and Hunt. Okay, same advice here. Trade away Hunt or Connor. Y'all have so many similar players.
Tyreek Hill, Wan'Dale Robinson, Mario Douglas. Those can't be your wide receivers. Yeah, you gotta offer Connor Hunt. I mean, I might even offer Kenneth Walker here if it gets me a really good wide receiver back, a stud wide receiver, like a CeeDee Lamb type or somebody, maybe even a Tyreek Hill if somebody's still worried about him. But yeah, you got to trade one of those running backs you have Tyreek Hill. Never mind. You got to trade one of those running backs and get another. You can't be rolling with Wan'Dale Robinson and Demario Douglas as your other wide receivers. No way. That's just brutal. Brutal.
Yep. Yeah, you need this team. You definitely need receivers. Like Abel still got some good ones, but yeah, you're gonna definitely have to make oops. Start now. Start fielding offers. Ismail dropped Godwin. I know. Who to target? Shakir, Jennings, Douglas, McMillan. I think still Jennings 1, McMillan 2. Are you chasing Shakir even at this point, or Douglas?
Yeah, I think they're consolation prizes. If I don't get Jennings or McMillan, they're fine, I guess.
What about Wan'Dale? Is it worth it to drop Wan'Dale to get, let's say, McMillan?
Yeah, what is Wan'Dale's upside? What did the guy have? Like 6 catches for 20-something yards? What is this? What is like 3 yards a catch? What is he, a running back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can drop Wan'Dale.
You can drop Wan'Dale. Look for some upside here. And Frosif, what about Wilson and Dobbins for Walker if you couldn't get Gibbs? It was we said yes to Gary Wilson and Dobbins to get Gibbs. Would you do it to get Walker?
I just want Kenneth Walker here.
Yeah, I
Kenneth
think you could
Walker
do it.
looks like an absolute stud. I'm just keeping Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, well, if you're getting Kenneth Walker, I think you can do it. Royland. What's up, Royland? Stack the receiver. Nice. A bunch of clowns at running back. All right. Are there buy lows at running back these days? Pacheco. I'm not buying Pacheco.
No, not buying Pacheco.
I mean, it's low because he's not playing for who knows how long. Anybody to buy low? I mean, Ramondre definitely is a buy low, but that's a risky buy low, not a very high upside buy low. HN maybe, but I'm not sure how low his value is. Who else?
Bunch of clowns. I'm laughing at a bunch of clowns at running back.
Yeah. Not a lot. I mean, James Cook, maybe James Cook is a buy low these days too.
Yep, James Cook.
All right, let's try for one of those. Don't know who you got though, but yeah, those are some names that come to mind. Steven offered Addison and Marv for McLaurin.
I think I just keep McLaurin here. Addison's fine. Marvin Harrison, who knows? Yeah, it might be rough for Terry this week, but it sounds like Jaden Daniels will be back the week after, and then Terry will be great again. I'm just going to keep Terry.
The reason to do this is if you're thin at receiver, don't remember what your squad was. I mean, you get in quantity. Yeah, right now I prefer McLaurin.
And I just got to say, Steven, and because you're obviously a member, you're on here a lot. You watch our streams, you listen to us talk, you probably watch our videos, you're probably sick of our faces. Why are you just now dropping Trey Benson for Bigsby? Like, why are you now going to have to go fight for Bigsby on the waiver wire when now everybody knows about Tank Bigsby in your league because you just had a huge game? Why didn't you already have Tank Bigsby?
Good question. I didn't say it on the waiver video, but I was going to say I'm not talking about Tank Bigsby this week because I've talked about him for 2 weeks already before week 7. So I think if you haven't picked up Bigsby now, what else can I say? But yes, definitely do that.
Yeah, I hope you get him. I hope you get him because you should have had him like weeks ago, honestly.
Right. Sticky. Hey. Team is AJB, Kupp, Reed, Jason, Addison, Bijan, Achane, Stevenson, Singletary, Chase Brown, Bigsby. Well done. To upgrade RB depth, are you offering Reed to get Kenneth Walker?
If I can get Kenneth Walker for Jaden Reed, I'm taking that all day.
Yes, definitely. Any other moves? Okay, well, yeah, try to get Jennings on the wire. So you're going to have AJ Brown and Kupp, and then that means your number 3 receiver will be Addison.
I could roll with Addison as my number 3. I mean, Bijan, Achane, Stevenson.
It's fine.
I mean, maybe offer like Reed and Chase Brown or Reed and Stevenson and see if he'll throw in like, I don't know if he has, maybe he has a wide receiver like, I don't know, let me grab some names here. Maybe he has a wide receiver like Darnell Mooney that he could throw in, Jacoby Myers that he could throw in, something like that, just so you have a little bit of depth at wide receiver.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, we got Nate again, Nate Sofla, Chuba Hubbard, or Nick Chubb, Chuba or Chubb, or JSN, which we're going to just say no to.
It's got to be Chuba Hubbard. He's been good. He's getting the touches. He's healthy. It's got to be Chuba. You can't, okay. He got the touchdown. Happy for Nick Chubb. He got 11 carries, which I'm sure was way more than they wanted to give him because he got nothing in the second half. They were like, okay, because remember they got him that touchdown right at the end of the half, 4 carries in a row. He averaged 2 yards a carry. It's going to be a while for Nick Chubb. And JSN, I'm done with JSN. Damn, I don't care if DK Metcalf's out. I'm going Chuba.
Still go Chuba. Chuba's been good. It may not be the best week for Chuba, but he'll get involved.
Yeah.
And then Justin Garland, rest of season, Murray or Darnold.
I'm still going Murray. Still going Murray here.
Yeah, you have to go Murray. Well, okay, you don't have to, but I'm going to go Murray too. He gets that rushing upside that Darnold doesn't. And then Lindsay just here to say thank you. First year playing. Awesome. Glad that you're into it and glad that you're here.
Yeah.
So
hopefully you're having fun, because I know I've seen some comments from people that were like, this is my first year playing fantasy. Like, why did I do this to myself?
You picked the wrong year. No, it's not always this brutal. Not usually this bad. But like that's what makes it interesting, right? Because it's not, just sit back and watch your guys play. You have to be proactive. You have to think ahead. Not unlike the game of chess.
Right.
Scuba Steve also just saying thank you. Appreciate you. Drop some bench players to make room for the waiver wires. Nothing wrong with that. Always shoot for upside. Guys, just because you picked somebody up, by the way, last week or 2 weeks ago, it doesn't mean you have to hold on to them. They didn't do anything, or you get see somebody better come along, drop them. Okay. Let's not fall victim to like the sunk cost fallacy, or especially if I drafted. Who can? No, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares where you draft him anymore. If he's a bust, he's a bust. You can drop him. Right. Brandon Anthony. Buy low on Harrison Jr. Well, it depends. Naji for Harrison Jr.
Yeah, I'll just gamble on Harrison Jr. here in the second half. I mean, I know Naji's been good the last 2 weeks, but yeah, Jaylen Warren, they basically split last week, so I'll just gamble on Harrison becoming the guy we thought he would be at some point.
Right. Some people are not enjoying Mark Evans bidding farewell. He's saying, I suck at fantasy football and I quit. Devontae Smith, Jameson Williams, and Marvin Harrison.
But this week was terrible. This week. Like it feels like every year there's like 2 or 3 weeks that are just terrible, but this is one of the worst weeks. Not just like we have weeks where it's like, oh my gosh, there was terrible injuries this week. Or we have weeks where it's like, oh my gosh, there were terrible busts this week. But this week we got both. We got terrible injuries and tons of busts. Like all of one. Like this one of the worst weeks of fantasy I can ever remember.
All right. Well, if this is indeed true, which I don't have a feeling you'll be back, Mark, but so then you will be missed. I'll pick up Tom Savage in week 17 on your behalf. Eric Fortis Jr. What's up, Eric? Welcome back. Purdy and JSN for Devontae Adams, Anthony Richardson.
I mean, I'll just take the Adams Anthony Richardson side just to get Adams over JSN, and then I'll drop Richardson and stream QB.
If you have Lamar Jackson, you really don't need either of those quarterbacks. So basically, JSN to get Adams, sure. Take Devontae Adams. All right, then we have Naaman. Have Madison, Coleman, Jennings, and Ray Davis available on waivers. What's the order to rank those guys? Guessing Jennings still number 1.
Yeah, I think Madison's going to be 2 for me. And I might even do... Yeah, I think Jennings 1, Madison 2, Coleman 3, Ray Davis 4. He's just pretty much a handcuff.
Exactly. And then asking to drop Braylon Allen, Kirk, or Leggett for any of them.
I think you can drop Braylon Allen and Leggett. I know you said drop Kirk, but I don't really want to drop him if I don't have to. I don't think you have to here.
No, you definitely don't have to. I mean, between those options, I would keep Kirk over Braylon Allen Leggett. But Braylon Allen's probably the first one. Trying to trade Mason, who to target? Well, keep saying this is a good time to trade. You're not going to get a stud anymore for him. Maybe a low-end wide receiver 2 type.
Low-end wide receiver 2 type. Yeah.
will say I think you could get DJ Moore, possibly. Chris Olave, still a buy low, Jalen Waddle, those kind of guys. All right, now Jody Bedard wants to know Burrow or Mayfield.
You got to go Burrow. I think you got to go Burrow. Burrow's been great. He's got all his weapons. That Philly secondary doesn't worry me. Burrow.
Yeah, definitely going Burrow here. Victor Blanco needs one off waivers. No Ayuk. Javonte Williams is on waivers. And they got to get him this week.
Yeah, you got to get him. Yeah.
Out of Pearsall, McMillan, Tolbert, Shepard, Pop. Wait, okay, I'm trying to decipher here. It says Javonte's on waivers. Yes, you can grab him and flex him. Got the flex. Right now it's JK and Cook. You can play JK and Cook this week, but you want to flex Javonte? Yeah, flex Javonte.
Yeah, I would still pick up Javonte over all these guys anyways. I mean, Javonte's the lead back here. So I'd pick up Javonte. McMillan would probably Tolbert would be 2 for me, McMillan 3.
Right. Marcus, what's up? Which defense to stream? Chiefs.
Yes. I might go Chargers against. I mean, either one, Chiefs or Chargers. I don't know. That's close. Chargers have been a good real life defense, and Spencer Rattler's a disaster. But so are the Raiders and Gardner Minshew, and so are the Chiefs. A real good. Let's say either one. Somebody on. I think it was. I can't remember his name now. On the Discord. Sorry, I can't remember your name. If you're listening, I feel bad. I can't remember your name because you're one of the OGs, and I should remember your name. I can picture your avatar. But anyways, was asking about like dropping somebody who was actually good for like the Chiefs defense because the Chiefs defense have like this amazing schedule. So if you want to go Chiefs because they have a great schedule, go for Chiefs.
Well, I guess that's true, but either one, those are both good options. Defense is a little hard to predict. Like next one, let me see. Marcel, I know you had commented earlier. I'm trying to look. He says, me again. Hi, Marcel. But I don't see your actual... Oh, wait. Never mind. Okay. Here's another one. 2 flex, but still have 2 receivers benched every week. Higgins, Olave, Flowers, Harrison, Waddle. So I want to make a 2-for-1. Okay. So, I mean, if you can get Lamb, who would you give up to get Lamb?
If I could choose, I would give up like probably Harrison and Flowers or Harrison and Olave. But I would probably give up any 2 of these. Except maybe, I don't know if I would give up Waddle and Higgins. I don't know if I would give up Waddle Olave, but I might be too high on Olave. But if I can give up Marvin Harrison and any one of these guys, I probably would for Lamb.
If I had to pick, I would say Harrison, Olave. I would try to package those 2. See if you can get it. It's probably not the 2 that will get you Lamb because obviously they're not doing too much lately. But that's also why they're the ones I'd want to trade. In this case, it does make sense. I think you can do this. So go for it, Marcel. Just you're going to have to work with the Lamb owners, see what they really like and what they want because you're kind of at their mercy because they're the only ones who have Lamb. All right, Lindsay, going back to Lindsay. She's enjoying her first year of fantasy football. 6-1 so far. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Not bad at all. Very well done.
And then John, this funny because okay, so John Weistring, we answered his question earlier. He got the membership. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. He was a little impatient for a while because he dropped the super chat and did have to wait. So those of you who are new, and we've got a lot of new viewers here, just to let you know, we do try to go through. Well, we do go through every single super chat. Like you super chat, we're answering it. We're on 3+ hours until we answer all the super chats. And then we have people who have the membership, like John just got the membership for the first time, which we definitely appreciate. you got the membership, we're going to answer your questions too. And we still try to do some of the others. But if you scroll through the comments, which just do it for fun real quick, just scroll all the way up to when we started on the air, you'll see how many questions we get. So it's pretty impossible to stay, I guess you could call it current with the comments. So unfortunately, we get backed up, especially Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday. So thank you for bearing with us and staying patient. Just hang out. And you can also learn from listening to us talk about other people's questions. Sometimes somebody has the same question that you did. Or you get to learn something about a different player that maybe you're curious about. So long story short, we appreciate all of you who are watching and got the memberships and super chatting. And while you're here, it costs you not a thing to click the like button and to subscribe. That does help us. We're helping you. Hopefully we are. We're trying our best. That's what we're here for. Try to help you.
Yep.
That's why we do this. We enjoy talking football, but we really want to try to give you advice, especially if you're new, or maybe you're looking for a different angle, looking for trade advice. We really try to get, something a little different than what you get from other channels, dig into your team and help you personally, not just throw out opinions and takes and spit out stats. Like anybody can do that. But we want to help you personally. So appreciate you guys. Let me also take this time to remind you, if you maybe didn't want to do the super chat right now, or you're just not sure, or if you want some advice that's maybe even more personalized, we do have an app. It's us, just Chris and I. Draft Lane is the name of the app. So if you go to the App Store or the Google Play Store, you can download Draft Lane. It's a free download, and then it has all sorts of features. First of all, you can sync your Yahoo in Sleeper fantasy leagues with the app, and you can see your league history, standings, records, all sorts of things. And we can see it too, which helps because when we're doing waiver wire advice or trade advice, start sit advice, we can click a button and see your roster. For trade advice, if you use that advanced trade feature, we can click a button and see all of your league mates' rosters, which means we can tell you who you should trade with, who you should trade for, and we can chat with you directly, or leave a comment, I should say. It's not like a live chat. We're not like Amazon level here with customer service or anything, but maybe one day. The point is, we can get right back to you directly, personalized advice. That's what we're about. So download Draft Lane, check it out, and we can help you that way too. All right, let's do some more questions though. We're not actually far behind on the super chats, but we do want to catch up. Let's get to probably one of the toughest questions so far of the night. This is directly for you, Chris.
Okay.
Chris Boswell.
Okay. I don't know what Chris Boswell is doing, but I know that I actually have that Siebert guy for Washington in 2 leagues. He's been phenomenal. I gotta think it's him.
I was gonna say, I don't even know if I remember his first name. Do you know his first name?
Something with an A.
There you go.
Maybe
Austin. Austin sounds right.
Austin. Okay, sure. But I don't know. He's been phenomenal. It's been awesome.
There you go. Awesome, Austin.
He's like this year's Brandon Aubrey.
Well, he's no Brandon Aubrey, but who is? The answer is Siebert then. There you go. Even kicker advice, even though we don't play with kickers. Low Kane got an offer for my Kupp. Wow. Mike Evans? Okay. And Tua.
Nah, this isn't enough.
For AJ Brown, Kelsey, and Addison.
Nah. AJ Brown. Kelsey and Addison, this isn't Kupp and Mike Evans. Too much. You're giving up too much here. I assume you are getting the AJ Brown, Kelsey, Addison side. I want the Kupp Evans side.
Yeah, because it's my Kupp, Evans, and Tua. This is interesting because Kupp is coming back. Who knows? And then Evans, you're going to miss for a couple of weeks, but he will come back. I mean, you're getting a surefire stud in AJ Brown, and then you're getting Kelsey. It's like, okay, he's still a tight end. Unless you're really, no, even if you're down bad at receivers, Addison saving the day, no, probably not.
No,
don't do it. All right, so John wants to know, is Tillman worth a roster spot? I did put him on the waiver wire pickup video. You're saying Jameis Winston's going to lead them to an almost victory on the back of Cedric Tillman. So,
yeah, he's definitely worth the roster spot, especially if you need like a start this week. They get the Ravens. He gets Jameis Winston.
Yep. I think he's definitely worth the roster spot. Just don't drop anybody, really good to get him. What about Caleb Ramirez? Could you drop Christian Kirk to get Juwan Jennings?
I guess Christian Kirk's been so bad. I guess.
Do it. Look, number 2 receiver in Jacksonville, number 2 receiver in San Francisco. That's the way you got to look at it. All right, Frosif re-upped the membership as well. Thank you, Frosif. I think this is that same, or it's a variation of that question. Garrett Wilson and Dobbins for Walker. Yeah, same as before. Yeah, I think we already did this.
I would take Walker. So I would, if you're getting Walker, I would do it.
Yes, get Walker. Arthur Swanson. Well, that must be nice. Somehow you're avoiding the injuries. It's all sunshine and flowers watching the league mates deal with injuries, and then Godwin goes down.
Yep. That's the thing. I always say, don't gloat about injuries, because it's going to happen to you too at some point. It's going to happen to all of us.
Honestly, has anybody been spared one of your top players from getting injured? Anybody out there? Is it?
I'm sure there's probably some teams that have, and they're like, haha, look how good my team is. It's like, yeah, because you haven't had your best players get hurt yet.
Yeah.
But it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming for all of us. All right, Steven was moving week 2 across the country. Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Lost internet. All right.
Okay, so so that makes sense. All right, well, in that case, I take back what I said, Steven. Good job coming right back into it and just jumping right back in and getting Tank Bigsby. Good job. Good job.
That's a good reason. That's a good reason.
Yes.
All right, I'm glad you're back with us. Cash money with the Kupp trade talk was offered. Kupp. I'm telling you, it's all a buzz today. Kupp for Garrett Wilson in Worthy. Got Tyreek, Myers, Mooney, and Nico Puka stashed 6-1. Do you take it? So it sounds like he's going to get Kupp, giving up Garrett Wilson and Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, give me Kupp. Kupp's playing this week. He's back. Worthy, whatever's a throw in. I prefer Kupp to G Will. Give me Kupp.
Yeah, Worthy's whatever. Exactly. I'll take Kupp. Take a chance here. And you're 6-1. You can afford to take a chance. That's interesting because you have Puka also. What do you do if you get both these guys back? One-way Marco. Have an extra flex open. Go for Higgins, Flowers, or Debo. Just picked up Juwan Jennings. Nice. Who should I start tight end? Okay. Let's start with the first one. So these guys are just flexes to you? Is that all they are?
Man. I
mean, if Debo's good to go, is he must start? I mean, I think that's what kept him out of must start is we didn't know he was still in the hospital, but now he's out. I'm going to assume that he'll play. If he plays, I think I got to play Debo.
Yeah, it's between him and T, because T gets the Eagles. But yeah, I mean, I guess if Debo plays, you got to go Debo, I guess. Can't go wrong here. Can't go wrong.
Nah, do you consider Higgins maybe a little safer?
I don't know about that. No, I don't think either is safer.
All right. Well, in that case, go Debo. And then at tight end, Pitts or the Joker? I guess Njoku.
You got to go Njoku with Jameis Winston. You got to go Njoku.
Yeah. I think you got to go Njoku here. Patrick, thoughts? 6-1, very nice. Got okay, 2 receivers, 1 flex. Got Dak and Kirk, Gibbs, Pollard, Devontae Brown, Irving, AJB, Waddle, Higgins, Liggett, Juju, RIP Godwin, RIP Rice. Okay, but you're keeping them. Yeah.
Yeah, but the keepers.
Laporta, drop Kirk for Tua and Liggett for McMillan. I think you can drop Liggett for McMillan. Dropping Kirk for Tua. You have Dak and Kirk. Why do you need Tua? I mean, this isn't super flex, is it?
I mean, I don't know. You're not gonna keep Tua, right? Like you're gonna keep Rice probably. You're gonna keep Waddle probably, and you're gonna keep AJ Brown probably.
If there's Gibbs
or Gibbs, you might even keep Gibbs. Like you're not keeping Kirk or Dak or Tua.
Yeah.
I mean, you could maybe you don't want to give somebody Godwin that they can keep Godwin, but anyways. I mean, I guess if you want Tua over Kirk, it's fine.
I mean, it's not a big difference here. You can definitely pick up McMillan. Thoughts are you have a pretty good team. I mean, your RB2 is Pollard. That's fine. He's solid. Javonte, you might want to start Javonte this week. Higgins and Waddle now. Waddle back. I mean, it really sucks that you lost Godwin, but you're still in good enough shape. I think it's at the very least good timing with Waddle becoming a startable receiver again. Arthur Swanson, who no longer has avoided injury. Speaking of Godwin, out of the top drafted tight ends, who do you think gets right? Laporta, Kincaid? Any of them? None of them?
Well, I mean, Andrews is getting right. I guess Njoku, if he's considered a top drafted tight end.
Yeah, then you're not holding out. I know you're not holding out hope for Laporta, huh?
I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens over these next 2 games with Jameson Williams out. Maybe that does a trick for him. But man, it's looking bad right now.
Yeah, Kincaid. I mean, what can we hope for Kincaid now that they have Amari Cooper in town? I don't think that necessarily is a good thing for him. So
no.
I don't know. John also wants to know, speaking of Tillman, yes, Tillman worth rostering.
No.
Would you start one of those waiver wire pickups over Neighbors?
No. Although it wouldn't, I mean, I say that, but it wouldn't surprise me if they outscored Neighbors this week because it is Daniel Jones on the road in Pittsburgh, but I'm still starting Neighbors.
You got to start Neighbors. I had to become a believer. And again, I knew Neighbors was a stud coming out of college. And I knew that I hated that the Giants drafted him because they have Daniel Jones. And then I had to just get over that after Neighbors proved that he doesn't care who the quarterback is. He'll find a way to catch it. Now, I know last week was not good. You have to go with Neighbors. He's one of those players, it just doesn't matter. You take the good with the bad, you have to go with Neighbors. That's all there is to it. This is a good one. I think you'll enjoy this. Access MIA. Rage drop, Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. Not even rage drop. It's just like, what's the point of holding Calvin Ridley?
Yes. I mean, if that helps kind of exercising the demons from drafting him, sure. Do it. I called him droppable, and he's definitely droppable. I mean, would you drop Ridley to get Cedric Tillman?
Yes. Oh, yes.
All right. Well, there you go.
Not even a question.
That answers the question right there. Speaking of, Henry loves Schultz. Dalton Schultz? I don't know. I got the top waiver wire pickup and then just lost Ayuk. All right, Jennings. Oh, Jennings is rostered.
Yeah, I guess you got to go. McMillan.
Top waiver wire?
I mean, you need to replace Ayuk. It's week 8. I don't know who else is out there, but
yeah,
I mean, if Jennings isn't out there, then McMillan might be your best bet.
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky to say because it depends how deep your league is, who gets picked up, I mean, if Jennings is already rostered, yeah, they're probably, and you're asking about McMillan, there probably isn't anybody better out there, right? That means you're not going to, Tank Bigsby's available. Somebody dropped George Pickens. It's probably not one of those type of leagues. And
Right.
now he's asking McMillan, Tillman, or Pearsall. I would go McMillan. Yeah.
I guess McMillan long term, although I really want to add Tillman.
You can go Tillman. I mean, look, it's one of those two. We don't know. We don't know exactly how that Browns passing offense is going to look. I like Tillman better than Judy, but yes. By the way, apparently so we'll put this up so there's clarification. His last name is Love Schultz with a hyphen.
All right.
All right. So you probably want to draft Jordan Love and Dalton Schultz every team you can get, so you can have a stack. Or you probably don't ever do that. Where every once in a while, on best ball only, I'll draft Pierre Strong just so I can say I have him. Let's do a couple more. We're almost, we're caught up. I know that. Michael Bryan got the membership. Oh, well, thank you. All right. Well, absolutely the best. I'll take that.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Appreciate you.
Yeah, we're happy that you are here. That's
yes,
no lie. What about Giyu? If I pick up McMillan, start him over Jordan Addison. Now that's an interesting one.
I don't think so. I know Addison wasn't very good last week, but man, Addison gets another great matchup against this Rams secondary. I'm still gonna go with Addison.
Based on the matchup, yeah, the Vikings, I'm going to keep recommending you stream receivers against them if they're good receivers, obviously. The Vikings are giving up a ton of points to receivers. It continues even when they win, which they're doing almost every week. So, yeah, I think you're going to go on the other side there. The Rams are giving up a ton of points to wide receivers also. I'm not saying it's going to be a shootout or anything on Thursday night. But I think I feel good enough about Jordan Addison that I'm going to start. Pick up McMillan, though. Pick up McMillan. Or let's do Ernesto. Ernesto's always with us. What's up? 3 and 4 and a 10-teamer. All right, Murray, Hall, Mason, B-Rob, Hunt, Bigsby, Brooks, London, Devontae, Waddle, Pittman. Everyone on the waiver wire video is available, including Juwan. Well, that answers it. It's a 10-teamer. Does that make sense?
Well, who did you have on there? Is there anybody you had on there that I would take over Juwan? Probably not, right?
Well, Tillman, Keon Coleman, Romeo Dobbs, maybe. Jacoby Myers, but I don't think I can put him over Jennings, Madison.
Yeah, probably just Jennings. Jennings number one.
Yeah, I clear with what happened now with what's going on with Ayuk and all that. I think Jennings, had we known about that before I filmed, I would say Jennings is the number one. I think he's got to be number one now. And with what happened last night, I still would have put McMillan high, but not number one. Anyways, Hall, Mason, B-Rob, Hunt, Bigsby, Brooks. I mean, I don't know who do you drop here to get Jennings.
Yeah, I don't know who you're dropping. Brooks? You can drop. I think you can drop Brooks in a 10-teamer.
In a 10-teamer, sure.
He's not even back yet.
Yeah, I mean, look, Hall, Mason, he's going to be your fifth, maybe your sixth running back. So I guess drop Brooks. Let's do a couple more real quick. Ernesto Torres put a claim for Puka to drop Juju. Yes.
Yeah, you don't need Juju. Juju isn't even playing. He's like retired. He came out, played one good game, and then he all right, guys, I retire. Thanks. Thank you, and good night.
Like Rocky and the remake that they did. I guess it wasn't a remake. It was like the 7th movie, right? With the young fighter, he comes out and he's, let me show you how it's done. And yeah. I don't know why I said that. Goff or Dak? Ryan Beck.
I want to say Dak, but it should probably be Goff. Even though Goff has a tough matchup, Goff's just been so good. He's at home. I think it should be Goff.
Yeah, let's go with the guy who's been rolling. Let's go Goff. Irene Worthy. Trade Devontae Adams for Jordan Love.
No. I mean, if you're desperate at QB, like you're rolling out Gardner Minshew or Daniel Jones, but you shouldn't be there. You should not be unless it's super flex. I'll just hold Adams.
Super flex, yes. Single QB, no. Like nobody should be rolling out those guys at quarterback. There's probably still decent quarterbacks on the waivers. Let's talk about Tua is less than half owned because he hadn't been playing, so you can pick him up. No, you don't need to do this. All right. We did just hit the 3 hour mark, but we're also all caught up. We're going to get out of here for tonight, but we'll see you tomorrow night. We stream again. And don't forget about Draft Lane. You can still ask your questions there on the app if you haven't tried it yet. Free download. Again, sync your leagues. Sign up now, and we can answer your questions that way offline. And don't forget about Underdog. Got a lot of great offers still going throughout the month of October, and you still get that free pick until Thursday night. You have a chance to take higher on 0.5 total yards for Matt Stafford. So check that out. Do you have another super chat? It's John again, John Weishring. Hopefully I'm saying that right. So John is saying he's keeping Lamb. All right. After drafted 3 running backs, Neighbors was his first receiver. That's pretty good. It's going to be very hard to sit either receiver. Would you waste a waiver wire pickup this week?
If you're just going to pick these guys up for depth and you don't really need them, then I wouldn't. I assume when you mean waste a waiver wire pick, like you're going to fall back down to the bottom.
Right.
If you're already stacked at wide receiver and like Juwan Jennings or Tillman is going to be your, just going to sit on your bench all year, then no.
Yeah. Sometimes there's a player that comes along or players and you're like, even if you don't need them, you pick them up just to have them just in case, or just so that your opponents don't get them. And this is a good deep week for the waiver wire, but it's not also, I don't know that any of these guys are going to be like league winner. Like you have to get them. You can't let somebody else get Juwan Jennings. I'm not going to go that far. So no, I don't think you have to. What we do have to do before we leave? Pop in Shrek 2 on DVD.
Oh man.
It's getting harder and harder to come up with a creative way to introduce that name. All right. Needs a running back and 2 receivers. Singletary. Ray Davis? Spears? Charbonnet. Okay, let's just say we do need one of those running backs, and then we can go 2 receivers. Okay, so what one running back do we have to start?
I don't know. Is that Garrett Wilson? I'm gonna go Garrett Wilson. I'm just gonna take Garrett Wilson and Waddle at wide receiver for me.
All right, and then I don't know, Singletary, I guess.
Maybe Charbonnet, because maybe he gets more dump offs this week with DK out. I don't know. Maybe they run the ball more. This is not a decision I want to have to make.
No, not a favorable decision. I might just go Singletary just because I think he'll get some touches. That's all I got. Wilson and Waddle, at least you have good receivers here. And then we're going to rewind real quick. Robert Perky, I guess, didn't hear the answer to his super chat, which was way back. Because we did answer it. So let's see. Yes, clearly remember talking about your 30 teams going 25 and 5. I don't know. I think he heard us. I don't know, maybe he's wanting us to run this back on a little humble brag here. Now, look, Robert, it is bad luck. I don't know what else to say though, because I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
You're gonna be up all night putting waiver claims in. I know that.
Well, I think what I did say is at least you have some options here, because Juwan Jennings, Jalen McMillan, Cedric Tillman, these guys are all at least interesting enough you can put something in there. All right. Thank you, John, for now I know. Because everybody has trouble with my name. Wickering. It's Wickering. John Wickering.
All right. Thank you, John.
I will remember that.
Yes.
And then, all right. let's give Don the last word. Thank you, Don. Always been with us. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody being on here. Don't forget the videos coming out. You already should have seen start sit for running back, wide receiver, quarterback, and tight end coming. The booms, lessons learned is out. Beat the breakouts, the stats. What else can we do? I know. We got stuff for you every day, and sometimes 2 videos a day. So anything you could possibly think of that interests you or can help you for fantasy football, we got it. All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate you, and we'll see you tomorrow.